They do not know the rising towers of Hillbrow. They do not know the sprawling suburbs of the north. They do not know the sweet sounds of isiXhosa, Afrikaans, Sesotho. They do not know our ways. They do not know our people. They do not know us. We are not waiting for permission. We are not asking to be seen. We are our own region. We are SSA, RSC Johannesburg, RSC Nairobi, RSC Saint-Denis. This is not just a league, it is a movement. 4 seasons deep, and we are only just beginning. We train on 200 ping. We grind through blackout. We fight through silence. And we win anyway. This is Sub-Saharan Africa. This is our fight. This is Season 4.
RSC Season 4, Week 8. Ladies and gentlemen, the end is in sight. We are so close, and there are still so many permutations to be sorted out in the final 2 weeks. We have Week 8 next Thursday, Week 9, and the Monday immediately following that. It is prospect playoffs, then Tuesday rival playoffs, Wednesday elite playoffs, Thursday will be the master playoffs, and just like that, Season 4 will be done and dusted. So much more still to play for. I'm Greybeard, thrilled to be here, and it's gone really quickly as it always does. So let's have a look at where we are. Week 8, which means 7 weeks have already gone by. You see it there. There are just 2 more colored weeks left, and then we're into the playoffs, the business end. We've been going since the end of August. We're now coming to the end of October, and here we are. And as always, a massive shout out to the people who are making this possible. First and foremost, the community of people, the admins, the people who help out, the people who sweat. But then we have our broadcast sponsor, Genisus Extreme, bringing us every broadcast, every week, and then every day of playoffs when we get there. And then, of course, Nearstream, who came to the party in the middle of things. They joined up. They've gotten behind the RSC, the Rocket League phenomenon. So thank you to Nearstream. And then our prize pool sponsors, Slayer Energy Drink and GG's Gamer Serum, the community curated energy drink is in production right now as we speak. So next week we should start seeing the delivery of those. If you ordered a box, they will be with you very, very soon. The prize pool currently stands at 17,950. Quick, someone go and order another box, and let's get that up to 18,000 Rand. So there we go, our sponsors who have made all of this possible. Thank you very much. And that brings us to today. As always, we bring you 4 series, four game series, and we're starting off in the master tier. Deathcloud Esport versus Cosmico, Unity versus Azura in Elite, and then 2 prospect games, Deathcloud versus Monarch and Genisus versus Shadow. All of that rolling out right here and almost right now. So we have 4 casters, 2 sets of casters. 2 casters will take us through the first 2 series, and then our second 2 casters through the last 2 series. So now is probably a great time to introduce our first casters for the evening, Rhino and Muzzler. Gentlemen, you've picked a banger of a slot to be in, to be casting here. Welcome back, Rhino. And Muzz, great to have you for more than just 1 series this week.
Yeah, totally ready for a Greybeard. It's RSC, you can't get rid of it on a Thursday, and of course to be working next to Rhino, that's always the blessing, yeah.
Hey, and we're bringing the band back together, buddy. We're bringing the band back together. RSC, caster teammates, we're rocking it for RSC.
So, well, the band may be back together, but will we be banging out the hits, Rhino? It's all nice, good and well for us to be jamming in the garage, but we need some banger hits out there, and I fully expect, Rhino and Muzz, that you'll be bringing it to us tonight. And I also wanted to have a quick shout out to everybody who's here in chat. Great to see you. And the Bromeo, who has a day off today, couldn't help himself, is here and in chat and setting up the prediction. So the prediction for the first series is up. So go ahead and vote. Get your predictions in. Now, Rhino, Muzz, we're starting with the master tier, and it's a second versus third play. So there is like everything to play off. 2 weeks to go. There you see it. White Rabbit Gaming are at the top, and that's a little out of date, I think, because I believe that White Rabbit have played their this week's series, and they got a sweep against Monarch. So they are currently on 23 points, and Cosmico with this series in hand on 22, and Death Cloud on 21. So Rhino, couldn't be any tighter at the top there.
This is what's really exciting about this first game of the day is Cosmico versus Death Cloud. You don't want to have to go through play-ins, folks. You don't want to have to play that extra game in the postseason. So with these two teams going at it, it's going to be fascinating to see who takes the win and who gets pole position going into the final week.
Well, Flosi in chat last week was saying that he's chill in Elite to finish in third. He seemed to think that extra game you have to play in playoffs would be a good warm-up for things. I'm not entirely convinced. I am sure that both Supernova and Tempest will be playing for everything. So, gentlemen, Rhino, Muzz, I'll hand it over to you to bring us all the action.
There you go. It's going to be Death Cloud Tempest versus Cosmico Supernova in Master Tier to kick off your RSC SSA Thursday. Muzz, top tier, top competition. So much on the line.
Yeah, so much on the line here, Rhino, and this is the big one, right? We look at all of those green W's from the previous weeks, and Death Cloud versus Cosmico, yeah, Supernova, just string of W's, yeah, string of W's. Rhino's checking out the scoreboard there, Mr. Production. Yeah, just the one L, of course, registered for Tempest, and they don't want the L tonight here, third place. Rhino, they can pip into 1 and 2, and like you said, avoid that play-in fixture. So, yeah, only 4 games ahead of us, and an absolute doozy it's going to be.
Yeah, it certainly is. And as you rightly mentioned, there is an L on the Death Cloud record in the last 5 games. There is not an L on the Supernova side of things. They have won every single series they have played this season. 7 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses. The only problem for them is that 6 of those victories came as a 3-1 victory rather than that full sweep. So Cosmico Supernova, a good example of why every single game in RSC matters. If you are 3-0 up, push forwards to get that 4-0, because if they had swept every single one of those games, they would be top by quite a margin. Will they be top by the end of tonight, Muzz? That's yet to be decided.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at this Cosmico roster, right? And you've got a fantastic team in Jeff, Technic, Eagle, and Blade, right? Of course, Varet there as well in the captaincy. Yeah, just not dropping those games, doing incredibly well. And Death Cloud, of course, they got our reunion players, always awesome. Tashao, Heatsy, Friction there, SSA legend in himself. And so it's gonna be a decent one. And you talk about those 3-1s here, Rhino. Death Cloud, they want to get more than one victory. They want to push for a draw. They want to push for that dub. They want to take Cosmico out of that second spot. Yeah, so very, very keen to see how it goes down. I hope people made predictions there. Bromeo is begging everyone to make predictions. I hope you put down your fake channel points on teams that you want to win. I can't decide on a team here, Rhino. Like both of the players on either side. I love the fact that it's a Masters matchup right at the top here. It means it's going to be absolutely vicious on the field. I'm here for it.
Yeah, so am I, and we're gonna get into this one then. Cosmico Supernova and Death Cloud Tempest taking to the field in just a moment. Second place in the group is on the line. Who will get that spot and who, unfortunately, will fall to maybe have to play that extra game when we come to playoffs? We are going into the server. We're getting things live. It's purple on purple violence here, Muzz. Let's get it on.
Yeah, we're supposed up. Early goal maybe coming out. Ah, Jeff gets a nice hand up and he pokes that one out.
Yeah, certainly does. Technic off this right-hand side. Going to try and find Blade. Cleared away by Friction. Picked up by Tashao, who will be played into the corner by Jeff. Tashao once again bringing this one through. Brought forwards by Technic into the middle. Heatsy going to try and deal with it, but Blaze is going to be there to pick his pocket. Blade looking for another touch, but a good block by Tashao.
Tashao. Gonna just slow play this as well here. We're gonna see what he does for the Death Cloud team as well. Nice little, oh man, following down to a teammate Heatsy. Heatsy not able to sink that one there. Rhino incredibly close there, but just that stellar defense coming up from Cosmico.
Yeah, not quite there just yet, and now this ball playing back down the other end. Blade not gonna happen. Jeff now taking it through into the middle, but he might have actually given the ball away. Friction down the line, looks for the finish, and he will find the finish too. Death Cloud take the lead early in game one.
Yeah, just look at the replay here. I think Jeff that make that awkward touch infield off of that play from the wall. That nice little pickup here by Friction, runs it all the way down there. And Death Cloud early on our scoreboard chat. Of course, we know they want to get the dub here. It's going to be, you know, more than just a 3-1 Cosmico. Maybe they want to stretch for that 4-0 win. You have to start by getting a goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Teshao will come through after the fact. And it's two different goal scorers early on. Friction off the crossbar. Teshao able to recover that beautifully. Jeff can't get back in time. And it will be the Cloud to start raining on Cosmico's parade.
I mean, this is exactly how you want to start, right? Just get two straight off the get-go here, Rhino. You want to be able to just smother Cosmico as well. Good defense here coming up from Teshao. He's going to run it all the way up the right-hand flank. They're not too much in the tank, though. Won't get past Technic Eagle, but it's fine though. Just hold them to the possession game. Make sure Death Cloud can hold on also to this lovely 2-0 lead there. Again, Teshao at the back doing stellar work in defense here. Friction wants to clear this one as well. Blade and Technic able to pick this up, maybe get over someone. They can't though, because this Death Cloud active defense is too good. Flick. Oh, there it is. It's good for Blade.
Blade sneaks that one low, and let's just watch this again. Collects it on roughly the midfield line, starts moving forward, takes it one step away from Friction before he can get in front. And then Heatsy trying to get behind the ball, just can't do it, and that will be the response. Cosmico are on the board. Both teams have scored now, Muzz, which makes for a very, very tantalizing game number one.
Oh, indeed it does. Of course, a whole 3 minutes of regulation. Yeah, we can see many more goals still ahead of us in Cosmic. Of course, that's exactly how you claw things back slowly. You get that early goal with tons of time left. Jeff actually going up for that one fake, and a Technic maybe able to catch that one. Teshao just going wide. It almost looked like with Blade, though, makes the save, though. Teshao could have found his second Blade. Looking for the rebuttal here. Goes up for a Technic. Looking for a bit of trouble to cause as well on that goal line. Blade again. Cosmico are holding the position game down here, just trying to threaten this Death Cloud defense here. Jeff looking for something, but Heatsy though with a nice little push away.
Yeah, we've got to talk about Jeff a little bit, of course, taking that shot there just before we can. There's going to be a save. Blade sends it over to the side, but we love when RSC kind of morphs into RLCS, and that's exactly what we see with Jeff. He's in the Cosmico Master team. He's in the Cosmico RLCS team with a very, very solid team as well. Himself, Stake, and Ravi going to be taken to Cosmico's team for this coming season. Looking very good. He's not been too effective so far. He will have to make a big save here, and does. And just when I ask for more from him, he delivers on the backline. Still 2-1.
Yeah, well, how effective would you like him to be, right? He makes such a decent save on the goal line, then punts that one out, make sure the Death Cloud not getting their third as well. Bit of an awkward bounce. It's Teshao trying to get more, though. Heatsy controlled this. He's followed up by Friction. Good teamwork there, just ensuring that the ball's not going to cross back into the Death Cloud half there. Blade looking to box out Teshao, and Blade and Jeff just both committing to that corner and get past Heatsy. Friction is going to be able to send this all the way back downfield. Lots of experience as a player himself, Friction has, and Teshao on this corner here, just holding on to the thin lead that they have here at the moment. We know Cosmic are able to pounce at any time.
Absolutely, and now out of this corner, Heatsy send this away, got a little bit of boost, but not really enough to take it through. Does fake out one, drops it down, Technic takes a shot, top right corner. Will still be in the middle, chance, but Blade sends it away, and now Jeff bursting down that right-hand channel off the corner, needs help, doesn't have it. Teshao sends it away. 50 boost on him, and a little bit of malfunction at the junction in the back lines for Cosmico. They don't look like the very confident team we've seen so far this season, and they are gonna be caused problems by Teshao. This was a really awkward double commit off that corner, and eventually Teshao runs through, gets the finish 3-1.
Yeah, Blade feeling uncomfortable on that wall, just clearing that ball, and then obviously, you know, Friction Teshao taking that opportunity. You know, if your opponents are going to be weak in defense and clearance, because they're not, you know, able to get off that goal line, then you're going to be able to pop it in. But Blade says thank you. We've got to bring it back, though. Goes all the way from defense to some stellar offense.
Kickoff goals always useful in every single game of Rocket League you play, and this one just nestles under the crossbar to bring Cosmico back within one. And with 52 seconds left on the clock, there is still plenty of time for this recovery. However, you do have to say it does feel like it's been Deathcloud who have been the more confident, have been the stronger in the game, but it doesn't matter if they do concede here. They don't. The ball is cleared, but nervy moments for DCE.
Well, 30 seconds will do it, Rhino. So Cosmico have to put the, big boy pants on at the moment, Chan. Of course, when, Friction and Tashao, they find each other on the field like that and they make these kind of cross-field passes, then Cosmico can sweat just a little bit and, not hold in the position game as well. That's going to go pixel straight to the right and Friction will catch that one. So Jeff wants to be able to put those shots onto target as well. Blade having made 4 shots of his own and, trying to hold things down here for Cosmico, but the clock's ticking down and Heatsy wants to be able to control this one and get rid of it. Tashao maybe looking for just one more for the road though. But Deathcloud, if this one hits the dirt, it's going to be a win for them in game 1.
Game management now. Got to try and get this on the ground if you're Deathcloud. 1 goal up on 0 seconds, and they're not able to do it just yet. Get over the ball, dunk it down. There it is. And Tempest do confirm the victory in game 1. But Muzz, it was down to the wire. It was so close, as we expected between these two sides.
Yeah, of course, right. And you spoke about that 3-1. And so now Deathcloud have got their 1 victory at least. Do Cosmico just go on an absolute rampage for the next 3 games? I don't see it, Rhino, because we saw Deathcloud here come out with such a decent showing. Tashao, there's 660 points, right? Just an absolute decent time of them. Look at those shots. Look at the ball touches. Yeah, Deathcloud really just were able to kind of hold their own here against this Cosmico's team.
Yeah, shots I really want to talk about. Only 5 shots on the Cosmico side, and I've got to do some maths to work out the other side. It's 13. Over double the number of shots from Deathcloud. So Cosmico weren't able to move forwards. Yes, they were more clinical. They got more goals from the amount of shots they took. But if you are only taking 5 shots in a single game, scoring 2 of them, maybe you got to be looking at that as not a great output. As Deathcloud come in, they absolutely roll over Cosmico on the balance of play. Not in scoreline, but eye test, balance of play. It looks like it was all DCE.
Yeah, and I also like the start that Deathcloud had, right? Get those early goals, those kickoff goals, working wonders. Oh, right. Okay, Cosmico.
No.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Hang on.
We're going to reset because I'm pretty sure the AI Rainmaker does not play for Cosmico. No, I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't. So we'll take a look.
Yeah, I think can chat also just rate that goal quickly, because that was an absolute humdinger of a kickoff goal. So kind of 1 to 10, chat, please let us know what you thought of that kickoff goal.
Absolutely. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, no, I think that was a beaut. But yeah, very good start from Deathcloud, of course. Tashao putting in that work. We saw those kickoff goals there, Rhino. Definitely working out well for them. And yeah, Cosmico, they were doing a lot of saves naturally in that game, and they want to try get off that back foot.
Yeah, Blade and Jeff working together very well as those kind of goalkeepers. 5 and 3 saves respectively means that they just found themselves on the back foot a lot, right? The ball was often in their half. It was being shot on net. They made a lot of saves to be able to make up for that. But at the end of the day, your defense can only be so strong. You've got to have an offense to back that up. And as soon as you are able to get, I mean, as I say, looking at it, 9 saves on the game, that kind of should be enough to win you a game, right? You shouldn't be dealing with many more shots than that in a game at this level. And it really felt like Deathcloud were able to get too much on the aggression, too much on the offensive side. And that then led to them getting a few more goals, getting a few more over the line. And so the defense I saw from Cosmico was not bad at all. I need more offense. I need to see them clicking, moving up the field.
Yeah, I think especially when you kind of look at this roster, right, and what you got Technic Eagle, you got Jeff, right? So you definitely have that arsenal where you can step forward and just absolutely put goals on your opponents, right? But Tashao had a decent game 1 there. Friction was just linking up, doing so incredibly well there. They caught Jeff on the goal line. Blade had kind of those awkward clearances. And so definitely Deathcloud with their number. But here we go. Let's head into game 2.
Yeah, no Rainmaker on the field, which means we can get things underway in game number 2. Tashao going to take this one off the right side. Looks to get it off the ceiling. Beautiful play from Tashao. Hits the post. Great save, but there is a man at the back post. It is Heatsy to continue as they mean to go on for Deathcloud. 1-0 early.
1-0 early, says Deathcloud, and started how they did in game 1. History repeats itself. You love to see it. And our French players on the field here, into Shao and Heatsy, having a crack of a time here. How Cosmic are going to be able to respond here? We've spoken about Jeff Technic Eagle needing to be able to step up and do something with this ball there. Blade again, popping it all the way out to Heatsy. Oh man, the man's on fire today.
And it is those team plays that are absolutely killing Cosmico right now. Ball in from Friction. Heatsy reads it really well. Jeff was caught between a rock and a hard place, whether to challenge for the ball initially or to go back and try and make the save. He does the latter. The ball is too powerful. He can't deal with it. And suddenly Deathcloud have doubled their lead basically inside 30 seconds of this game number 2. And Cosmico are staring at potentially not winning this game 3-1 unless there's an opportunity here finally. Blade finishes into the top right corner after that crossbar had been rattled multiple times. 2-1.
Oh, and nothing worse for a Rocket League player than just hearing the absolute gong of that crossbar Rhino. It just happened twice in concession, a big old ding. They did get the goal at the end of the day here. So very much repeat of game 1 here. We're looking at a 2-1 immediately within this first minute of regulation. Blade gonna hold it down here. Can he get it out to someone? To Shao, of course. They're always hanging around, waiting to clear that ball. Friction in the box. They're doing stellar work. Out to Heatsy though. Either a miss or a fake. And Blade's gonna have to control this one. Full can of beans this time around. Out to Technic. Oh, that was close, but kept out.
Tesha, what a save that is, and he actually wants to turn it into an offensive move. The bump doesn't come in on to Blade in time. There is still an opportunity. Plays it middle. Blade will be able to send it away. Gets challenged high in the sky. Jeff, big booming clearance for Cosmico, who have started to find their feet a little bit now in this series. Ball into the middle from Jeff, not enough. Teshao gonna go ball over boost, which I don't mind at all, but doesn't. It ends up coming empty. A problem, and now has to pick up that 100 on the other side. Clearance away to that far side. Technic can't do enough. Friction misses, but makes Blade miss as well for that. Blade instead challenges that one on the next one, and it's going to be cleared away. Cosmico and Deathcloud looking at a stalemate right now in the middle of the park. Neither team able to break the line in a little while. Maybe that changes now as it comes off the backboard. Opportunity knocking backboard. Saved by Friction. Still a chance. Jeff waits on it. That's going to be enough. Technic sweeps up, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, the whole time we've just through this passage of play, you know, Cosmic are getting those early challenges and making sure they just put so much pressure down onto Deathcloud, and finally they get the respite here as they can squeeze that ball into the bottom left corner. You know, you thought Jeff was going to be able to get it over, and then eventually they come in at the last second and get that goal. So they do draw here. Technic looking for the flick again, straight to that crossbar. Oh man, cannot buy a goal with 1,000 credits at the moment. But they are drawn here 2 apiece, Rhino, and so things looking better definitely in game 2 for Cosmicon. You know, the pressure they've been putting down onto Deathcloud has been paying dividends. So, you know, keep doing what you're doing, keep, you know, getting in the face of the Deathcloud players because it's working out.
That was a lovely pass from Heatsy onto the far side. Friction for that pass back to Blade, who takes it forwards, not especially powerfully, but the second touch, well, that's where all the power comes from. Drives forwards, knocks that one into the top right postage stamp, and Cosmico have turned this one around. 3-2.
Yeah, beautiful play there from Blade, just reading it, getting that second touch as well, making sure he can get the nice angle, you know, corner of the car, bang into that corner. Good reach here from Jeff as well. Blade to follow up there. Just going to go wide to the left. But good kickoffs here coming up from Cosmico. Technic Eagle actually looking for a bit of the action himself here, as well as Cosmico now finally take a lead in game 2. Blade going up for this one. Can they get the double? Tashao's going to get the catch. Down to Heatsy. Jeff almost poaching that one though. And you got to be careful on those clearances. You don't want to allow too much time for Cosmico to be able to you know, to cause damage.
No, you really don't. Blade off that left-hand side. He's looked like a man possessed in this game, and he continues that form as he drives forwards on the left side, takes it away from Technic, but was very unselfish in the end and said, here you go, you can have it on a plate in front of the goal with no goalkeeper. And Cosmico, they are now 2 goals up. Deathcloud Esports, after that first minute of gameplay, I mean, where have they gone?
Yeah, just kind of slowly receding and, you know, allowing a lot of field and position and all of those good things to go to Cosmic K at the moment. And 2 goals up, and within these 2 minutes here, of course, we can see a lot happen from Death Cloud here, but definitely a lot of fire here under this Cosmic K team. As Heatsy running forward, maybe he's going to get it past Blade. Can he beat out Jeff? Jeff not going to fall for that one. Good defense they're coming up from Cosmic K. And yeah, Death Cloud definitely want to see that game 1 anger come back.
Low challenge on the side will be cleared away. Teshao trying to get back to this ball. Technic out of the corner. Heatsy will bring it long. Intercepted there by Blade. Friction does enough. Teshao can't rise highest. Does get something on the ball though. It won't be enough as Blade pushes it to the side. But Teshao still has possession into the middle. Maybe looking for a musty. Fakes it out. And so Friction will turn it in. Oh my goodness, it hits the post. Another opportunity for Teshao. That hits the opposite post. And Death Cloud, for all of the shots they're taking, doesn't feel like any are going on target.
Yeah, it's their turn this time around to take all the shots and nothing, you know, landing and sticking where they want them right now. Jeff going to the heavens. The Shao's going to push it out though. Don't know if they're going to have enough time here to score 2 unless they're incredibly quick with it. And, you know, Blade's going to hold this down, and, you know, Cosmico could even slow things down, hold the position game, and really just, you know, starve out Death Cloud, and that would work out fantastic for them. No waterfall coming down there. Shao and Friction not making it work again. So we're going to get a draw series or game coming out here, Rhino. 1 apiece with Cosmico really having stepped up.
Yeah, and that might concern Death Cloud a little bit. Taking a look at the history, as we mentioned before the game, they love a 3-1 victory in the series. They have given Death Cloud that one. There is a laser from Heatsy into the top left corner. Tip him if you've got him. That's a wonderful hat trick for him. But it won't be enough to win this particular game. Cosmico should tie up the series, as you rightly say, Muzz. And, well, that takes us to a very interesting game 3.
Oh, I mean, do we hope and pray? Is 2 seconds enough? It's not going to work from that kickoff. Jeff makes sure to kill it there as well. Well done to Cosmico. So there we go, fans at home. 1 apiece. There were no losses registered by this Cosmico team. Of course, they did now go down in game 1 to Death Cloud. And here we are, drawn up.
Yeah, fascinating to look through those stats and see a very, very different scoreline, except one, well, shots are very much more even. Let's put it that way. 9 shots on the Cosmico side. Over on the other side, you got 11 shots on Death Cloud. So only 2 shots the difference, which we like to see, right? Cosmico clearly realized what they were doing wrong in the previous game, and they have stepped up in this game. Death Cloud being very aggressive, though. I'm looking at 4 demos down there, and I'm thinking they could actually do a little bit more to try and increase their chances of scoring in their offense.
Yeah, and we didn't see too many demos coming out in game 1 either there, Rhino. It hasn't been, I guess, the most physical game in the world yet. Maybe the bumps coming out, but nothing supersonic to cause the demos. It's been kind of nice, clear passage of plays. They get the passes out, they make the shots. Yeah, you hit in a lot of the woodwork from Cosmico's end, but, you know, you managed to figure it out here at the end of this game too. You won with 4 goals. Can that carry on into game 3? Because this is now really the difference, right? You don't want to draw. You have to now win 2 on the trot on both ends of the pitch, and that's going to be important.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a draw does favor Cosmico to a degree because they'll stay above Death Cloud in the table. So if there is a draw that happens, we know which org will be which org will like that little bit more. However, you're absolutely right. Death Cloud need to be now getting into that mindset of, okay, we scored last. You know, Cosmico dunked 4 completely unanswered goals on us, and then we were able to come back. So that mentality is good. Friction looks for the opener, but Death Cloud don't get off to the races quite as quickly as they did in game 2.
Yeah, and we've seen the openers come in both games early on here to the Death Cloud team, and so Friction almost getting that one for the lads as well. Heatsy pushing this one up to Tishao. Nice little catch is going to go goalward as well, but Technic Eagle with a decent stop. He's got about 32 in the tank. He's going to try continue on that left-hand flank, but Jeff and Blade going to make sure that this threat gets dealt with here as Death Cloud really putting it down to Cosmico. Blade again for Friction. Here goes Technic Eagle, and Tishao coming in, getting that one in the face as well. Death Cloud just doing so well, though, to cause problems here for the Cosmico team.
Yeah, that's a missed touch from Jeff. There's an opportunity. Technic will be back in time, and a bump comes through as well to prevent the Death Cloud attack. Cuts off there by Friction. Now Blade comes through looking for that pass. Tishao sends it long. Heatsy's up on the side while he was waiting for that pass that never came. Technic now on the left. The better of one, and maybe a second as well. Waits on it. Well, up by friction. Jeff takes over. No boost for his teammate, though, and Teshel brings it away. He doesn't have any boost either. Empty tanks and empty tables on this game so far, and it's empty on the scoreline as well. Still 0-0.
Oh boy, maybe golden goal. You know, that's what we're going to end up at the end here of game number 3. Who knows? But we've had an absolute goal fest here in 1 and 2, though, Reiner. So I think the players on the field, they're going to still spoil us here. They're just warming up. They're just kind of figuring out how they want to get across the line. Nice pass out to Technic Eagle. Comes back to Jeff, though. Good old 1-2 there. But yeah, Jeff not able to finish up the move there. Maybe Technic should have just had a stab at it and see what was going to stick. The Heatsy sends it there straight onto that backboard. Catch up by Technic. Can't get past the shoulder to shout. Just waiting patiently on that midway line just to not allow Cosmico to get over here. I'm still staring at this 0-0 ball game here. You can see maybe mistakes are going to start creeping in here as the players are starting to maybe rush the ball and get a bit antsy.
Yeah, I've got to say, I've been really impressed with Heatsy this series. He's been Mr. Reliable right now for Deathcloud. Doing fantastic work. Teshel goes over the top. Is there someone to finish the dinner? No. And it will be Heatsy once again who takes charge. Ball forward, saved away by Jeff for the moment. To relative safety, Heatsy now the ball across with pace, shot on. Good save again by Jeff, and these Deathcloud attacks, they lack teeth, Muzz, in my opinion. They look really good until that final shot, which just feels, for lack of a better term, feeble. It's a little bit slow. That one isn't, but that's a great save by Blade.
Yeah, they're kind of, they wanted to hit things with a wet noodle, right? And it's not working out for them. And of course, Jeff was able to make quite an easy save of that one, pushing it out from that left-hand corner. And still 0-0 though, Rhino, so someone's going to have to get into the backboard here. We haven't seen Cosmico put up too much either here. Friction's taken 3 shots though, but as you've mentioned, they all aren't really as fantastic. But Heatsy, the one that you say is stepping up for the team, has done just that.
That is beautiful, and I was asking for a little more zip, a little bit more pace in the shots. Well, couldn't really get more than that. 1-1-5 on the shot counter, and Deathcloud go 1-0 up after a Heatsy Heat Seeker.
Absolute pinpoint accuracy there coming up from Heatsy. Just really, as you mentioned, is the one that's doing incredibly well. And for Deathcloud, finds those clutch moments, and Jeff deals with that one though. But it's good to see the intention coming up from Deathcloud.
Yeah, for sure. Deathcloud continuing their form from game 1, I think, where they have basically dominated the game. So much attack. There's a demo coming through as well. Doing great work in those backlines, but it only takes one for Cosmico to get back into this game. They haven't yet, but this is the first real sign they're showing of doing just that. Jeff gonna let that one go. Big clearance over the top. Is it on target? Will go wide. If it was on target, Deathcloud would be 2-0 up, and they have had a little bit of a problem with their aim. They need to recalibrate those radars and maybe take a little bit more time in the shots they're taking.
Yeah, it's good patience here coming in from Deathcloud. We just see how Teshel moves the ball out there, just nothing too kind of nervy and shaky at the moment. Decent ground clinch there from Heatsy, and a demo to boot there as well. Teshel, maybe it's going to squeak in. Okay, there we go. So Deathcloud just cool, calm, and collected this game.
An aggressive challenge from Teshel. Blade certainly wasn't expecting it. Neither were any of the Cosmico teammates. Teshel gets rewarded for taking such a brave stance, so pushed forwards. The Deathcloud needed daylight. They needed that little extra reliability, for lack of a better term, and they do find it in that second goal. So Cosmico now have it all to do in the next 20 seconds, and I'm not convinced they've shown us enough to actually be able to pull it off. Hang on a moment. Backboard surely will be. You can't miss that in Master.
Well, I mean, Rhinos, you're going to see something new every single day, and that's just how it went down, scripted on unscripted. But here we go. Deathcloud Tempest, they get the dub. They are 2-0 up. And, okay, so now you did mention that, of course, a draw favors Cosmico. But yeah. Deathcloud, I think they won everything. They want the dub here.
They do, and it's never been more clear than in that previous game. We are back to seeing absolute domination on the shots count, which I am not surprised by in the slightest. You're looking at 11 once again. Deathcloud, all 3 games have had north of 10 shots, which sounds like a really odd thing to latch onto, but when you think about it, that means they've just been continuously battering down the Cosmico defense. That means they have averaged at least one shot every 30 seconds for each of these 3 games of Rocket League, which when you think about it in that context, Muzz, means that they are continuing to attack and attack with ferocity.
Yeah, I mean, 100%, right? And kind of very slow start from them. And you mentioned you want to see a bit more teeth coming out from them. And then he came in with that firecracker and said, yeah, just watch this, guys. And 8 saves Cosmico having to made that. They just were on that back foot, getting peppered the whole time. And Deathcloud, they're really... Reunion Island, you speak French, but then we look at France as a country and we know the venom that these French players do come with naturally. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe Heatsy and Tashao, they're looking up at their brothers and they're saying, guys, we can do the same out here in SSA.
I hope they are. Well, we go into our final game of this series then. Currently 2-1 to Deathcloud. They're going to want to win it, and they almost get off to the best start possible in game number 4, off the crossbar. Another opportunity. Heatsy leaves it. Teshao tries to find the bottom right corner. But once again, another shot with not enough power, and that could result in a Cosmico opportunity. But that's missed wide, and now the counter is on again. Friction misplays it backboard. It's all systems go at the start of game 4.
Yeah, and Blade not able to find a second man to pass it out to, and already possession all the way swinging back to Deathcloud. Yeah, as Tashao and Friction holding it down. And Friction doing well earlier. You want to bring that ball forward, maybe look for a bump and play, hand it off to someone that's in a better position than yourself. And so I just think kind of what's happening here between the Deathcloud team is doing incredibly well here. Friction getting on the scoreboard.
Communication wins games. This is beautiful. Teshao ready for it. Friction gonna ping that one into the top left corner. There's no goalkeeper to make the save. And with less than a minute on the clock, Deathcloud do as they have done in all 4 games now of this series. They lead. Will they lead 2-0? No, not quite. The clearance in for Cosmico, but really worrying signs if you're a Cosmico fan, because at the moment, they don't seem to be able to deal with anything that Deathcloud are putting up, and there's actually a counter-attack here. Nice put down, maybe the finish. Beautiful team play! Deathcloud Esports are here to take second place.
Oh man, and they are eating good tonight. That beautiful handoff. Heatsy finds Tashao there. Beautiful, gets it over the Cosmico defenders. 2 to the good right now. Rhino, it's Masters tier, right? When you look at the docket, we saw game 1 is going to be Masters tier, Deathcloud taking on Cosmico. You knew this was going to be a banger.
We did. We absolutely did. Although I will say I thought it was going to be a bit closer. Deathcloud Esports have come into this Thursday matchup and they've absolutely dominated. And there's another example of it. Friction going to be the one to get this one home after a Heatsy pass in field. Technic gone for a sandwich. And it will be 3-0 in game 4. Deathcloud are marching towards, actually, not even second place. With a win in this game, they go top of the table.
Yeah, we did see White Rabbit Gaming obviously getting that 4-0 victory over Aces, Monarch Aces. So, yeah, I mean, Deathcloud Esports are doing incredibly well to pick up the potential 3-1 victory here over Cosmico. Of course, 3 minutes still. We can see what Blade, Jeff, and Technic are able to do. Yet Tashao holding on to this ball seems to be how the whole series has gone. It's just Tashao and possession and finding a player to hand off to. And at the moment, Deathcloud making an absolute nuisance of themselves. Their Friction, playing around with Blade. He gets it over Technic. Can't beat out Jeff, though. Jeff's going to send this goalward and see what he can do with it. But of course, Tashao's going to be able to deal with that one. Blade in the corner. Friction, though, straight to the wall. Blade holding it down. You're going across the width of the field. You're bringing it down for Jeff, and it just goes all the way wide.
Another double commit on the backlines, though, for Cosmico. They need to cut those out. They need to stop getting frustrated. Start communicating that little bit better. Ball over to that right side. Great work from Friction to play it back into the middle. Jeff sends it away, gets the better of another player, but Teshao is there waiting for that ball. Blade going to be the one to send it clear with no boost. Is there a goalkeeper? There certainly is. Heatsy does enough. Now up that right-hand wall off the ceiling. We've seen him make magic. Can he make some more? This one pushed away to the corner. But Deathcloud continuing to pressure! And they find their result. A hat-trick for Friction. And Deathcloud will be top of the Masters table after this play.
Oh, Technic Eagle not able to come in time off that backwall just to be able to stop Friction, but absolute banger. Tashal gets a decent pass off, nice little corner touch there from Friction, goes straight into that box there as well. Oof. Man, Tashal almost finding another one there. And yeah, Deathcloud having a stellar time of the series. Yeah, beautiful play coming in out from them. We've just seen how good the Lincoln's been. They're finding each other all over the park. Passes are clean. It's paid off dividends here when you fought to the good Rhino. Maybe 5 heats. He almost taking a crack there. Maybe. Oh, Friction looking for more. Maybe Tashal wants it as well. Blade has to clear it out though. Technic is able to control this one. Bump in the air. They can't get past over. Heats his head, but good attempt. Jeff's going to maybe try dunk this one. Bit of a slow play here, but isn't going to be Tashal.
Friction's so ready for that squishy save as well off the backboard. He was feeling it, but Tashal goes back down the other end. Deathcloud, the famous 5, as Cosmico are at 6s and 7s.
Oh boy. This is the ball game we've all come here to see, right? And I mean, Deathcloud, they wanted to climb up that leaderboard. They wanted to make the end of the season go incredibly well. Cosmico, they were already chilling in second. They had all the dubs to their name. And, so Deathcloud just came in hungry tonight. They really wanted it. We've seen Friction absolutely pop off here in game number 4 as well. Heats in Tashal absolutely bullying there in the corner as well. He has just, absolute pack of wolves here playing against Cosmico.
He feels that way. Backboard for Jeff, but more found. Great work there from Heatsy, who drives down that left side, keeps possession. Might get the better of Technic, moves the ball into the middle, needs help over the top from Friction. Jeff pops it up high. Blade is the only one in the vicinity. He can't get the better of the DCE defense. But it does feel like Cosmico is starting to find a rhythm. And Technic's so close to their opener in this game. Maybe another one. It's hit the other post, Muzz. And if you want a summary of Cosmico's night, it's right there in front of you.
Yeah, stellar stuff coming out from them as well. Yeah, Heatsy, Tashal, I mean, no one follows up into that ball. You think when it's a little loose like that, maybe you got to pounce on it though. But I feel like the pace of Deathcloud has been exceptional tonight. They're really just going to beat Cosmico off into the ball there as well. Blade, nice little consolation goal for the road though. Probably not going to count too much here, but decent wall play coming out there from Technic to Shao, sorry. And then they get the bump onto Heatsy. Beautiful goal from Blade.
Yeah, and that is actually going to help them because coming into the game today, Cosmico had 10 goal difference, 11 goal difference, better than Deathcloud. And I tell you something, after this game, that will not be the case. So trying to cut down that goal difference as much as possible for those tiebreakers is so important. And it looks like they are going to be able to do that, at least bring it down from 5 to 4 in the final game. And maybe an own goal. Tashal getting a bit fruity with it, but this one should come off the backboard. We should drop this one down any moment now. There it is. Deathcloud Tempest confirmed not only as your winners in this series, but as your current first place team in Master Tier.
Yeah, and with a few more seconds, I think Cosmico could have picked up a second. Did look like a nice attempt from that corner there, Rhino. But yeah, absolutely kudos here to Deathcloud, Friction, Tashal, Heatsy. Stellar game, absolutely popped off. We look at the end results here as well. We mentioned, the shots, and I mean, absolutely fantastic numbers once again. 12 in the last game. You weren't satisfied with what you had done already, Rhino, so they just put even more on.
Yeah, so that's all 4 games. Deathcloud, 10 plus shots each game. Credit to them. They looked so good. I was so impressed by everything that Deathcloud were putting forward. And I'll be completely honest with you, Muzz. I was a little disappointed by what Cosmico showed us tonight. A team that is 7 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses.
Yeah.
Really, I expected a lot more than what I got.
Yeah, I think so as well. They're Rhino, definitely true. They had a fantastic season, 1 to 7 there, just wins on the trot, and it was incredibly well, of course, Rhino. But a bit of a lackluster performance tonight. We see in chat kind of charity games being given away and stuff. I don't know. I think Deathcloud absolutely popped off.
He certainly
did. And Deathcloud leapfrogs 2. They frog over 2 teams to take the number 1 spot with 1 week to go. And it does mean now that Cosmico and White Rabbit Gaming are tied for second place. But you were talking about Cosmico's banger performance this season, and it has showed mostly in their goal difference, which sits at 39. And because of that superior goal difference, they do retain their second place slot. So, but man, oh man, it is uncomfortable, gentlemen, going into that last week.
It really is. It really is. I mean, this is what RSC is all about, right? Coming into week 9, the week before the playoffs, and not being confirmed as to who's top, who's second, who's third. It's all to play for in Master Tier, and I love every single second of it. It's you've got to try right the way through the season from week 1 to week 9. You can't have a bad week, otherwise you're not going to be there at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, those games, it's 23 points. I beg your pardon, 24 points is what Death Cloud have. And then second place is literally 1 game behind. So all the results matter, whether it's a sweep, a 3-1, a draw, all of it counts going into week 9. It's just fabulous. And then even going, well, the rest, you would imagine that the rest is going to be a little bit of, I don't think other than those 3 are challenging too hard for the top 2 slots, and then the rest is all about the 4 places in the playoffs. But yeah, what a great series to have at this time. I wonder, am I able to see? I'm just wondering who these teams play next week. Yeah, so Death Cloud will be playing Azura next week, who are fighting for 6th place, and Cosmico going to be playing Omnius, who are having a terrible season. They're done and out of the running. So in theory, that's a relatively easy win for, well, should be. But you know, maybe Cosmico have blown all their ammo in the first 7 weeks, Muzz, and then they, you know, maybe they run out of steam based on tonight's, because this is easily their worst performance of the season.
Yeah, but I mean, Greybeard, then I look at, you know, Sovereign are sitting with minus 31 in a goal difference, right? And so Cosmico are going to nail another kind of 5 or 6 into that as well. And so, yeah, next week, week 9, there, Greybeard, is going to be rough because, yeah, Omnius, it might be a thrashing from Cosmico. We're going to see how that looks. And, yeah, Silverback having a bit of a better time and actually do need to beat Tempest to make sure they can get through into those planes as well. So actually, yeah, AZG, it's a big game for them against Tempest for sure.
And then talking about getting the band back together, I couldn't help noticing again the Cosmico squad of Blade and Technic and Jeff. I mean, they've all done their tour through Unity. I mean, that's almost a complete Unity squad from like 2 years ago or something. Yeah. So well, I guess to be fair, I mean, Unity have been involved every single season of RLCS, every single season of RSC. So I think they're almost like one of those long-running soap operas. Everyone's had a go at being on that show.
Yeah, if you're anyone who's anyone in SSA, you've gone through the Unity system. Yeah.
True.
Brilliant stuff. Okay, well, that's series number 1. We turn our attention now to series number 2, and we go to the elite tier, and we have just as much of a battle going on there, because we're going to have Unity are playing
Midnight.
Azura.
Midnight. Yeah.
Okay, Azura. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong week on my sheet here. Yes, it's AZG. AZG fighting for 6th place, and Mzansi want to make a strong run into 2nd place. So their competition, not necessarily against each other, but both. It's a really important game for both in terms of their final placings. I mean, Azura want to make sure that they're minimally in those play-ins, so they need to do well tonight. And Unity, if they have a banger, they could get themselves into 2nd place, into that playoff position going into the last week. So, gents, we go from one banger to another.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We certainly do. And I also want to mention, by the way, they actually can go first. If they sweep,
they can.
If Unity sweep, they go up to 21 game wins. Current top is 20 game wins. So
Ooh.
on the night, they can actually go up to first. Of course, they would have 4 games ahead of Ox Gaming, but
Yes.
nonetheless, there is that possibility. So there's a lot riding on tonight for Unity.
It would require some cooperation from Deathcloud and from Ox to have a gargantuan choke in their series. And what's interesting about this series coming up is that in Elite, none of the Week 8 games have been played. All the series are being played tonight, with the exception of White Rabbit and Deathcloud, who are playing on Sunday. So very little is known going into this series, other than the fact that it's really important. So Rhino, Muzz, you brought us one banger, bring us another.
Yeah, Rhino, it's this is it, right? Mzansi Magic, they want to look for that win. They want to go even further up on that leaderboard here. And Azura Gaming, they really desperately need this win here, because sitting at 7th, yeah, you did get a win in the last game, of course, with that forfeit. So you're kind of riding a high. Maybe things are clicking together as a team, but you do need to beat Unity tonight. It's very important.
Yeah, it almost feels like Midnight and Kings are kind of battling between themselves for that final play-in spot right now.
Oh, yeah.
Currently, Azura on 11 wins, Monarchs on 12. So, you know, a win or even a draw tonight, just to go above Monarchs, just to put that pressure on. It's not ideal, I understand that, but needs must. You're playing a team that are currently in the top 4 and have designs on maybe even getting into the playoffs proper without the need for play-ins. So, whatever you can get from tonight, Azura, you've got to come in swinging. You got to win that game, number 1, get as many goals as you possibly can. And I hope they are watching and listening right now, because if they are able to do that, it could put Unity in a really difficult position.
Yeah, I want to see how these players are going to fare, right? I'm taking a look at our rosters here quickly. You know, we've got Tubbsy, we've got Stolzy on Unity, decent players there, Genie as well. So that's a really decent roster. And we go over to the other side, right? Spiker, Wispy Cream, Jake the Snake, of course, also been around RSC here for all of the seasons as well, and now playing Elite here for AZG. And so I really want to see what kind of that chemistry looks like right now, how they play Jake the Snake. I want to see if he's going to, you know, step up for the team tonight and what that looks like. It's a full 1,500 roster as well, so nice balance there in terms of how, you know, Silver picked the team. Sorry, so that's going to be great. So yeah, Midnight need to get the dub, need to absolutely just clean up tonight, and I want to see if it's going to start from the opening goal, and it has to be theirs.
It really does. Well, I think we've talked enough about this matchup, Muzz. I think it's time to start talking with the cars. So we are going to be getting in to this Elite tier matchup very, very shortly. All to play for both teams at different sides of the play-ins.
Yep.
It's going to be Unity versus Azura Gaming in Elite tier, Muzz, and we have liftoff.
Oh, and beautiful 10th anniversary map we're starting on here to get the proceedings underway, Rhino, and let's see how this starts. And already Tubbsy sending that one all the way out to Clucker, but Capulo with the hold here. And who's going to be S? Is that going to be Snake maybe?
It might be. It might be. We may have to do some.
Oh, actually maybe Spiker.
I think it's Spiker actually.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's going to be Spiker on the side. So Clucker, Spiker, and Wispy take to the field for Azura, and they look for an early goal. But you're going to have to help me with the pronunciation of this gentleman here. Capuelo is how I would say it, but I think.
Yeah, let's go with that. I love it.
Okay. Well, we'll try our best. We'll see how we get on. But down his left-hand side, Tubbsy, not very difficult to pronounce in the slightest. Clucker intercepts it from him. Unity and Azura playing a bit of a 50 in the midfield right now. Neither team able to really get a shot on. As now, this is an opportunity off that left-hand side. No one's there for Azura.
Oh, just but the threats though coming out from Midnight as well. Wispy looking to get things started. Yeah, Clucker as well sending a goalward. It's not gonna do too much damage there. Stolzy has to keep the one out. We saw Stolzy at the Stellenbosch LAN as well, and he's been practicing now for a long time in RSC, so he's, I'm sure, warmed up on the sticks here. Wispy trying to do damage here as well. Clucker goes up for this one. Maybe there's gonna be a second touch coming out though, but Capello off of that backboard, just a decent defense coming out from Unity, and so we're still stuck with a 0-0 at the moment here. Wispy almost finding top ends.
Very close, came out of nowhere. Clucker now off that left-hand side. Azura starting to exert pressure on the Unity backline, now off the ceiling, looking for Wispy to follow through. It's a good block, but nothing more, and now Stolzy tries to send it away under pressure from Wispy. Wispy takes that 100 boost, so Stolzy doesn't have anything to work with. Capello moves from that right-hand side, can't do much. Wispy to take it away. And it really does feel like a bit of a stalemate right now. That's a great interception, though, by Wispy. Is there a follow-through? There certainly is! Clucker breaks the stalemate. Bottom left-hand corner, Azura lead.
Yeah, we were wondering if Azura going to be able to, get the opener here. Rhinos, Wispy been throwing shots, Clucker been throwing shots, it's been really decent coming out from them, and they do finally break that stalemate, and they get one on the board here. So Azura, who of course need a lot from the series tonight, Wispy almost finding the bottom left corner, who need a lot tonight, get the opener, which is incredibly important for them. Almost finding a second, and Capello just waiting on the goal line here, making sure he can get that defense going. Spiker going up for the ball as well. He's faking out the play, maybe looking for a pinch on the floor. Oh, that was almost close. Oh, there it is, finally. Oh my good, the damn wall breaks.
Clucker, chicken, there's got to be some reference to cleaning up. There's got to be some reference to finishing empty goals. I'm not finding one yet. Let me know in chat if you have one that I can bring into the cast. But either way, he is finishing the dinner of Azura. Chicken, there's food pun there somewhere. As Clucker now takes this one into the sky. He has been lights out so far for Azura. Not necessarily the most impressive of goals so far, just making sure that he's there at that final moment to put the ball in the back of the net. And that's what Azura have needed so far. Their other two players, Wispy and Spiker, have been so good in the offense that there's always just a player over from Unity, and Azura eventually find their way through. So 2-0, looking good. Unity need to find something.
Yeah, fantastic threatening presence being laid down by the Azura team, which is great to see. And of course, that's how you get the 2 goals that are on our scoreboard right now. But it's Unity's turn to try get onto the offense here as well. And we want to see what they can string together here. And Wispy having to clear that one as well. Capello's going to go up for that one. Not going to, send anything too threatening towards the Azura goal line here as well. Spiker tries to clear that one. Tabsy, though. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, that's exactly what you need from Unity. Take advantage of a mistouch. That is Spiker not getting all of it, and Tubbsy drives through, pile drives it into the back of the net. Unity back with a shout in this game 1. I said they needed to win game 1 if they were to upset Azura, if they were to get a result here. They are now closer than they were before, and suddenly Unity might be playing with a little bit of momentum in their back pocket.
Yeah, hopefully not having left it too late though, Rhino. Unity, of course, still trailing by 1, need to be able to pick up the intensity quite quickly here, because Azura holding the possession. Clucker and Wispy looking to find that third and almost lands. Spiker going straight to the back wall. Clucker looking for a little bit more. Maybe Capello, though, gets out of the net and just saves that one. And so doing well not to concede, though. Unity here on the counter. And Tubbsy going to hold it down there, but can't beat out Spiker. Spiker wants to be able to hold this ball, though. Got to get past Tubbsy first. Can he get it out to Clucker? He can indeed. And Tubbsy, though, just a nice back and forth between these teams. Tubbsy almost driving that the whole way downfield. Clucker looking for a little bit more. And there it is. Stolzy finding the back of the net.
And suddenly there is a game to talk about here, Muzz. This is lovely work from Unity, bullying the backline of Azura. I saw a bump come through from, I believe it was Tubbsy after he took that initial shot. So back level with a minute to go. Azura going to be wondering how this happened. Wispy reset, shots on, and the pass is actually going to be ending up going in off the back of a Unity car. It will be an own goal. Wispy reset, takes the shot. It's too powerful to deal with. All 3 members of Unity clamber around that ball to try and keep it out. They can't do so. It's 3-2.
And you spoke about, Spiker, Wispy, Clucker always kind of being there and causing a threat and getting in the face of Unity. And so Wispy does so and finds the very important goal here in game 1, because they, were drawn up and now they need to take that lead, and they have it. Can we see a little bit more coming out from Azura, because Wispy was there in the corner, so he has Spiker. He's going to want to bring it down there, but the defense coming out there from Unity, they need to turn it into offense because they are trailing. But Wispy's controlling the ball, gets over 1. Can he get past 2? He's able to snake it around and weave and bend it like Beckham, though, and does incredibly well. Spiker maybe to able to get the bicycle. It's not going to happen though, but Wispy faking that one out, and he does have Cluck on the other side, but Cluck is going to have to try intercept this one. He can't do so. Clock ticking down. Maybe there's going to be a last minute dunk coming out from Unity. Oh, it's so good.
Capello, that's exceptional. Ice in his veins, needed it to level up the game, and he finds a wonderful double touch off the backboard. And even Tubsy is in chat right now yelling Cap. He's excited by that one. And why not? 5 seconds, all square, could be going OT unless Unity have one more thing to say. It's not going to happen this time. Ball over to the corner. Capello keeps it alive. Demo on the back lines. It's now only 2 defenders for Azura. It's not enough. OT found.
OT, golden goal territory. Here we go. Unity taking on Azura. Who's it gonna be? Of course, Azura Midnight really does need to win this game 1 here. Maybe they're gonna squeak it in on the near post. Spiker almost able to do so here. Capello running all the way upfield. Is wanting to get one more touch versus Wispy. He does have Stolzy though coming in as a second man. Cluck and not able to get the defense. As Spiker going up for that one. Maybe it's an opportunity for Tubsy. Oh, and got kept out.
For the moment, ball off that right-hand side. Big clearance now. And Tubsy drops it down over to that far side. Cluck are going to try and stay with the play, and stay with the play. He does wonderfully. This is going to be an opportunity for Spiker. Wins a couple, looks for the bump on the back line. And this is Wispy now. Backboard needs help. But Spiker can't find the finish. Azura still have possession of the ball into the middle. Unity finally clear their lines, but a really long period of aggression from Azura ends fruitless.
Yeah, I almost thought Spiker was going to be absolutely sink that goal right and just, end the deadlock here. But, maybe it's going to come down for Tubsy. Okay. Mzansi Magic, they want this type of victory here. Rhino, they want to keep that lead at the top end of the table, and it starts now.
I do have to say that's a missed opportunity from Azura. You're 3-2 up with a matter of moments left on the clock, 7 seconds. And you let it slip all of a sudden. I mean, it was a moment of brilliance, of course. We got to talk about that from Capello. Great, great work over the top. But at the same time, in OT, you would expect them to bring it back. They weren't able to. And that is going to give them big problems. So Azura now have it pretty much official that they cannot take top spot tonight. However, there is still work for them to do. They could still take home the victory and go level with first position. The problem is they have such a weaker goal difference that there is kind of no way they could actually go top with that win-loss record. But I mean, Muzz, I'm impressed with Unity. They're doing incredibly well, and I realize I've been saying the names the other way around. I realize that now. Unity are 4th, Azura are 7th.
Yes. Yeah, and that's exactly it, right? And Azura really needed to get the victory here. I wanted Spiker to be able to score that kind of semi-open net. I thought that dunk was going to come down and he was going to absolutely crush it, Rhino, and it just wasn't meant to be. And, Unity, they took that opportunity. They got the OT winner there. And it's important because, their goal difference is about 8-4, right? So both teams actually not doing too bad in Elite. But of course, the dub now coming out in Unity's favor, and that's great for them because they are in 4th. But Azura, just small little moments there that you want them to take.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see if they are able to in this next game. So Azura so close to a game 1 win, they just couldn't see it over the line. They're going to try and look for something now as Spiker wants to drive through the heart of Unity. Double touch from Wispy! And it's just going to hit the crossbar twice. Unfortunate from Azura. They could have had the dream start. They still might. Saved away by Unity for the moment.
Well, for the moment, we have seen some late goals coming here in the series. Oh, but Capello, man, an absolute sniper of a shot all the way downfield.
Yeah, where's that come from, eh? That's just an absolute boom from his own half. And you'd expect Spiker to be able to make that save. Just is not ready for it, and suddenly Unity, I will correct the stuff I was saying in between games, because it's Unity who could take top spot, and with that winning game 1, they still have that potential. They are still able to win 4 games here and go top of the table. So Azura needing to try and prevent that from happening, and they might do with a goal here. Very, very close to a goal steal from Wispy, but gives it to Clocker anyway. As far as I know, the only man on Azura who's scored so far tonight. Am I incorrect in that?
Oh, I wonder. I think I have Wispy and Clucker.
Wispy might have scored one,
Yeah.
but I think it's mostly been Clucker.
Yeah, no, that exactly the case there. And we also saw the big, double commit and challenges. They're coming out from Unity earlier, just really kind of aggressively throwing bodies towards the play of Azura, allowing their goal to get in as well. So, sometimes got to be cautious on how your rotations look and how aggressive you go into play. And Spiker from Reunion Island finds a second there for AZG.
Here we go then. Unity starting to look a bit shaky on the back lines. Great work from Spiker. He steps up his first goal of the series. And now Azura once again in the driver's seat, in the lead. And we've only played less than 60 seconds in this game, Muzz. And actually, there might be a third in the offing. That's a horrible whiff from Unity. On that left-hand side, Azura have daylight.
But maybe I'm a little scared still, Rhino, because this is how Azura started game one and then, of course, had to lose in OT. And, Unity can bring it back. But incredible start to this, exactly what you want to see from Midnight. They need to do the business. But, yeah, don't count Unity out just yet.
No, absolutely not. Still plenty of Rocket League to play in this game, too. Clucker into the middle, looking for help. Take it beyond, and actually a bit of a miscommunication. Eventually will pass it back. No way. No, that's one of the best own goals I've ever seen in my entire life. Wasn't ready for it. Clucker around this left-hand side. Bit of a miscommunication there, but this is even more so. Spiker, jump for it, pal. Make a play.
Oh, man.
Oh, dear. Unity back in it.
I mean, just what a doink off of Spiker's head there as well. Beautiful own goal, as you said. And yeah, okay, cool. One goal separating both these teams as well. Unity bringing it back. Tubbsy says, hold my chocolate milk. And there we go, 3-all.
Yeah, I saw that coming from a mile off. As soon as that kickoff was won by Unity, you just immediately felt like there was room there for Unity to work. And Azura, they've made a rod for their own back here. They were 3-1 up, cruising. But an own goal followed by a kickoff goal, and suddenly they are back level. Unity. I don't want to say they've been gifted this, but I mean, it was a great goal from Tubbsy. He still had a lot of work to do, but either way, very much feel like Azura have lost this rather than Unity getting it back.
Yeah, right. And such an incredible start for them, 3-1. And, the early days, it was looking great for them. And, of course, an own goal straight into Tubbsy's goal as well as, brought us straight back into this ball game, Rhino. And so, yeah, Capello, who had such a superb game one, finds the fourth for Unity. And, exact scoreboard we had from game one. And we are barely here into game two. And, yeah, Mzansi Magic. Well, they got magic in their name, Rhino, so I guess that's exactly what they're bringing us.
Yeah, maybe they've possessed Azura, maybe it was a spell, maybe it was all, they've gone to the dark arts to try and figure out exactly how to make it so that Azura score an own goal and then give them a free shot from a kickoff. But Unity, they did work very hard for that fourth goal, that's for sure. That was theirs. No one can take that away from them, not even a silly English caster. Azura trying their best to try and get back down the other end of the field, but actually it's going to be Stolzy picking this one up, taking one out off the backboard. No help there, and it will be sent away by Spiker. He's actually got support in the middle, doesn't find it.
Yeah, Clucker as well, second man. They're not picking that one up here as well. Tubbsy wants to look for that slow play, but Wispy's going to get in the face of them. They need to score quickly. Azura to be able to bring this thing back. Spiker looking for the long shot, though, but kept out the defense well here from Unity. Is just going to go shy. Stolzy almost able to sink that one. Tubbsy looking for a little bit more, but Capello does the business.
Call him the clean up crew as Unity go 5 alive. And Azura are starting to wonder if they are still alive in this series, or indeed in this entire season. A 4-0 loss here would be devastating for them. It's a long time before we can even start that conversation, but we just want to include that in people's minds so they are thinking about it. It would be devastating for them to lose in that fashion. Azura have looked good in moments, but I've got to say, Muzz, it's that consistency that I'm lacking from them right now.
And that's what it comes down to, right? We talk about, how does prospect fare, how do rivals fare, but you need that consistency. You need to be on 24/7. And Azura, they're having moments where they've just lapsed in concentration and allowed, own goals to kind of be a thorn in their side, and Tubbsy to be able to score on them as well. And so, Mzansi Magic doing incredibly well here to bring this game back here, because of course they were trailing at the beginning, but if you stepped into the stream right now, you'd be like, oh well, Unity having an absolute stellar time, and they are a game ahead as well, of course, through that OT win. And Azura on the back foot here, Klako having to deal with it, but Stolzy just dealing with them, looking for that bump and play, trying to get Tubbsy to find a sick as well. Maybe Capello is going to be able to do it, as you said. The cleanup crew coming in, a minute remaining, and Unity holding strong.
We certainly are for the moment, as this is going to be Klako looking for another shot. There is a goalkeeper, sends it away. The defense for Azura doesn't look too strong, but it's enough as Spiker gets something on it. Tubbsy gonna just wait on it, try and bamboozle the back line of Azura. Does a good job of it. Ball high in the air, Capello misses out, and now this is Spiker looking for the run of Klaka. Great save from Unity. Still an opportunity for Azura. Backboard found, clearance away, back in from Spiker, pass to Klaka. He's being 50'd, and Unity survived. 23 seconds left on the clock, and it could be 2-0 to the Unity side.
Midnight, throwing a couple shots here and there and just trying to see what's going to land for them, as we saw Klaka having that shot earlier as well. But, 2 goals down with not much time to do it in. And so Azura started off well, didn't end as well, as Unity are taking game 2 and 2-0 in our series here. Rhino, they brought it back. Sure, they had that own goal that was in their favor, but Mzansi Magic, they want to be fourth and they want to go higher.
They certainly do, and with that victory, they are now level with Deathcloud Miasma in seconds. They, of course, still don't have the goal difference to get above them, but they do leapfrog Cosmico, guaranteed, after this game, who will be playing against Vanguard Omnius later on. In fact, they probably have already played them, so if anyone has that score, we'd love to hear it. But for the moment, I mean, we've got to talk about this, Muzz. It's that Unity are now 2 to the good. And AZG, we warned them of a slow start before the game. And it's a slow start that they've got.
Yeah. And now, of course, they can only force the draw, which would be great for them and not great for Unity. But I wonder if that's going to be the case here, Rhino, because they seem to have these good starts, but then they just lose the concentration, and Unity brings it back. Full house of goals on the side. You have Unity, Capello with the hat trick, and so AZG start off well, not finishing as well. We need to see, you mentioned that consistency. It has to go all the way through for the whole 5 minutes. And we've seen those moments of, where they've lapsed.
Yeah, we have, but we've also seen those moments where I've been really impressed with them. And I think this is the frustration, really, Muzz, is the fact that when you know the level that you can be when you're playing at 100%, you want to play at that level every single time, every single minute, and then you feel things start to not go your way. You start to get to the point where you're conceding a few more goals than you would like, and then things start to dip. But Azura, looking to get things underway very quickly, is going to miss wide, and Stolzy now to collect and send it clear. But I like what I'm seeing from Azura right at the start of this game 3, being very, very aggressive. Let's keep that up.
Yeah, and we've seen that, Spiker, Wispy, they come with that aggression, right? They really just make sure that their opponents feel it, and, they've put the nails to Unity more than once, and, I hope they're going to have a decent start here in game 3. And the possession game looking good so far. Spiker sends it a 1 all the way to the corner, and Demo coming out there as well. Wispy just wanting to control that ball, but gets handed off to Unity and to Stolzy. Goes up to the air for this one, maybe looking for the double. Is there going to be a second man coming in? Wispy with a decent save. Capello looking for one there for the road, but kept out by Azura.
That looks like a textbook Capello goal right there. The other two had done all of the work. There was pretty much an empty net. All he had to do was finish it. And he just plays it wide. So maybe a changing of tide. Azura looking to try take home this game 3. But for the moment, they are not able to do so. Stolzy looking for that pass inside. Will be blocked away. Capello decides to go back because he's worried about the defense. And you should be with Spiker bearing down on goal. It's an early start for Azura.
fantastic play here, solo play coming up from Spiker. Goes all the way to the wall, gets the second touch, beautiful read, gets it under the defender there. You know, not too sure what to deal with it when you got an angry Spiker heading towards you. And yeah, great start for Azura.
Good, and they need more though. Spiker gonna look for it, cleared away by Stolzy, collected or high in the air from Azura, shot on, cleared away, but a double commit, backboard chance, Tubsy goes over, and they weren't ahead for long, Muzz.
It's kind of like the breakdance in battle, right? Like I do a move, then you get to copy me, and so Tubbs is like, yeah, Spike, I can do exactly what you did, and fantastic goal coming out from Tubbs, and there we go, they draw one apiece.
Here we go then, what is Azura's mettle? Can they get at least something for the road in this series? It will be Tubbsy off the left-hand side. Not a lot to do here. Clucker wants to put the pressure on Stolzy, tries to mirror him, does very well. Clucker into the middle, no boost on the side of Unity, but eventually Tubbsy just gets there in front. And now down that left-hand side, no boost for Spiker, might cause him problems. Ball pulled back. Stolzy can't do anything about that one initially, and Capello goes by. He's got another opportunity to do something here. Capello leaving it for the side of Azura, and it's not blocked away by Tubsy, my apologies. Combine Stolzy and Tubsy there. There's a ship name if you want it. Tubsy will send it away though. Still 1-1.
Well, Capello almost getting around the bend, and Tubbsy looking to get it past Spiker's head, but they're going to hold onto this ball. Actually, Wispy going up front here, so trying to look for that physical player, like, you know, that sending a man forward and maybe try to disrupt the defense of Unity, but it didn't work out this time around. Let's maybe see if they do try it again. Spiker up to the air though, but Capello, nice little disarming up in the air as well. Wispy, Stolzy, everyone's fighting in that corner, trying to grab onto the possession game. Stolzy, Tubbsy, maybe looking to pop it over one, should go straight to that backboard. Nice little read from Wispy as well, clearing it. At least Tubbsy is sending those shots goalward, almost landing. Wispy for Tubbsy into the corner. Clucker bringing it down. Oh, that's going to go incredibly wide. That's not the shot that he wanted. It gets disarmed by Unity. Spiker on the other end. Bit of the ping pong match coming out here for both sides. As again, Spiker's trying to send it into that Unity shot there, but Capello deals with it quite easily.
Being chased down, the demo does come through, and now Capello tries to take it out of the corner. Can't do so. Great work from Clucker. Does just about take it past Tubsy as well, who waits on that play. Pinched over to the far side. Clearance in from Stolzy. Down the left side, it's still 1-1. Unity and Azura fighting to try and win this game number 3. Unity to keep their sheet clean, as you would say in this series. They almost did there, but it hit the post, and Azura clear their ball away.
Slim margins for Unity to take the lead, and almost again there Wispy has to deal with that one. Great defense here coming out from the AZG players. Unity almost found the second there. Wispy trying to fight over Tubbs, is able to do so, and you know, we might just go to the OT winner here, Rhino, because no one really taking a command and hold of this ball in possession here. As we see the back and forth, Spiker to the air is going to go hold on to this one as well, and everyone just running like ants underfoot, you know, as we wait to see where the best pass is going to come out. The demo does happen there. Capello is going to do that on the defensive rotation. Spiker holding this one up. Maybe he's free to score this one, but Capello's waiting patiently to be able to do so. Wispy not able to do anything with it. Finally, Clucker breaking this, I don't know, what is it, the deadlock.
Yeah, absolutely. And Unity players on the goal line making misses, and Capello so close to getting across the goal line and making the save. But it is not to be. In Azura looking to fight back in this series. 2-0 down, no way. Surely not like this. What a save, Spiker. The shot wasn't especially powerful off the kickoff, but it did look like Unity had that opportunity. They might still. It's dropped down. No, Tubsy, what you doing, son? Get out of the way. And 20 seconds remain. It's still Azura in the lead. It might not be for long. Ball off the top rope. Sent away. And Unity have to build once more. Oh, no way.
I mean, this is just the story of Unity the whole night, right?
Can't believe it. It's so unlucky. It's so unlucky. Everyone around is kind of looking at it and wondering what's going on. Azura can't believe they've conceded 2 players on the goal line to try and make the save, and neither of them can get there. And it's going to be 4 seconds left on this one. 2-2, all square. Clearance comes in, the ball will drop. We do have overtime. And that is going to be exactly how we find ourselves. Unity to continue their unbeaten run in this series. Azura to try and get at least a game from it. It might not be enough though! And Tubbsy finds the finish in OT. Azura, for the second time this series, were 3-2, well, we're up by a goal with 10 seconds remaining. Both times they've lost out, and both times they have lost the OT. And I don't know if I've got Muzz back, but I do want to bring him in to discuss this because, Muzz, that has got to be heartbreaking for them.
Yeah, of course, right? I mean, you go to that OT, you now need the one goal to get the dub. Of course, Tubbs, he's gonna, get that finisher. And yeah, Unity have had just such a fantastic time of, sometimes trailing, and then they're gonna get the dub at the end of the day. And maybe that's why they're fourth, because they just come clutch in these moments, Rhino. And yeah, Clucker, Spiker, and Wispy, they must really be feeling it because they're always starting off so well and they're really having a time of the game. And then, just falls apart. And Unity had to make only one save in this whole game.
Wow. I mean, that kind of tells you all you need to know, doesn't it?
Right.
And with that game victory, Unity tie themselves at the top of the table. They go level with Ox Gaming on 20 game victories. They are going to stay in second based on their goal difference, though. But they have done pretty much what they came to do, Muzz, except take that first place. That's the last step on the ladder to success for Unity. Azura, man, they have shown enough for me to win a game, but they haven't shown that they can keep it together in the final 30 seconds of a game. And that's arguably the biggest turning point. If they can go into that time with a 2-goal lead, maybe we're looking at a completely different story. But at the moment, they're not able to ice out the games that they're currently winning.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good and well that you can start off well and the first minute goes your way. And then, of course, when you can't finish in those remaining kind of 40 seconds of play, when it counts the most, and, Tubbsy scores, golden goals on you, then, that's where it counts, right? And that's been the big difference here, is that Azura starts off so well, but the finish is not always as clean. They have those moments they've showed us where they can do so well. Wispy and Clucker just so good to get in, your face and get those early goals and get that early aggression. But Unity, there always just seems to be something where at the end they're able to come in clutch. And what a save from Capello as well.
That is a wonderful save. Clucker still trying to keep the pressure on. The ball is cleared away by Unity, but only as far as the corner. Beat Spiker to try and keep this alive. Wispy does enough. 100 picked up by Unity, which could cause problems now for the attack. No, it won't. Clucker keeps the play alive down that right-hand side. Clears to the far corner. Wispy's waiting. No boost to speak of. So the shot isn't very powerful, but Unity can't clear from their half. They finally have now. And now off that left-hand side. Great save at the last moment from Azura. It's still 0-0, but both teams have come close.
Good moments on both sides of the pitch. And we need to see who's going to be able to open the scoring here in Game 4 as well. We've seen AZG do it all series long and all night long, but Unity with that finish at the end, and who's going to be able to do it as well. So the Capello save earlier as well. It goes up for that one, able to maybe scare off Spike as he takes a shot, then almost finds the back of the net here as well. Capello going up for this one as well, gets over one, but Wispy's going to wait patiently for it here as well, though. Drags it across the face of his goal, and it's fine because it's over the backboard, and Spiker going up for this one, jumps off the wall, maybe looking to get the dunk down, but nothing going to happen there. The Unity defense is too good.
Certainly is. There's still an opportunity, but Stolzy gets the wrong side of that pinch, and now there's a chance for AZG at the other side. Captain Fantastic drives it home into the top right corner, and suddenly Azura take the lead. But, and this comes with a very, very big but, Muzz, we have seen this before.
Big butts, and you cannot lie. So but Clucker went ahead of Spiker there, of course, to cause a bit of disruption and get the bump play as well, which is good. We want to see that, and I think Wispy was trying that earlier in Game 3 as well. So just Azura, that's what you need to do. Clear defenders, Get rid of them. Take the shot. Spiker. Oh, man. And that was a glorious one.
When you need someone to step up, when you need a player to stand up and be counted, you should always be able to rely on your captain. And you can if you are Azura. They needed something from this game. Just any hint of something moving them up the table. That is going to do it right there. That's wonderful from Spiker. He's got 2 goals back-to-back in this game number 4. Unity, they have been 2 goals down before and they've come back from it. But I love what I'm seeing early from Azura. They are the ones in charge. They are the ones who are large. And actually, a moment, there is a chance here for Unity, but the ball is cleared away. Azura stay on top for the moment. And actually, this is a good opportunity by Wispy, brought down beautifully by Stolze.
Oh, when you think you're holding the possession game and you get disarmed like that, and, Wispy trying to get past Tubbs as well. Clucker is going to find a man in the midfield. Oh, it's good. It's good. We haven't seen Wispy kind of for a bit of a while here, Rhino, and, this is a goal that he's desperately needed.
Now, I'm going to say something that if there are any aspiring casters watching, you should absolutely never say, all right? Don't say this next phrase. They can't throw it away from here, can they? They absolutely can't. 3 goals scored, 1 minute 40 on the clock. Unity have barely looked like going down the other end and getting a goal so far in this series. This is the consistent Azura that I like to see. They've been pretty consistent for the last minute and 3 minutes and 30 seconds. They need another minute and 30 in order to get this over the line. I truly believe they have enough to be able to do it. And Unity haven't shown us too much in this game before to make us believe in that reality. So I'm fully here on the AZG train, especially if that goes in. It won't. Big challenge though from Clucker. Apologies. They keep a lot of pressure on this Unity backline.
And this is it, right? You spoke of all those glimpses and flashes in the pan that Azura can come with. And, this is the game we've been waiting the whole entire series for. You know how to lead. You can hold, them to a 3-0 game. We've seen what brilliance, Wispy, Spiker, and Clucker can muster up. And so this is what we've seen. But, of course, come a little bit too late. You're down 3 games. You're going to eventually then obviously take the loss here and cause an absolute headache for Mzansi Magic at the top. But this is definitely the Zero we've been waiting a while to see.
Yeah, it certainly is. And as we've said before, we've seen it in glimpses, we've seen moments, but we've not seen a full performance like this from this Azura roster. We have now, and I love to see it. 15 seconds to score 3 goals. The math just is not mathing for the side of Unity. And so Azura will walk away with something. They will go into the play-in spots for at least this evening. Monarchs have to play top of the table. Well, actually, that one is also taking place pretty much as we speak. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. But AZG Midnight do get something for the road at least, Muzz, and that's going to do themselves wonders.
Yeah, no, incredibly important, right? It wasn't an absolute wash. They got some goals in there. We see the 3 at the end here. They came in with the 4-goal difference already. For example, Kings have 0, right? And so that leapfrog to get over Monarchs is going to be incredibly important. And we saw tons of goals here coming out for AZG Midnight. And so not the result, of course, I would have wanted, Rhino, but definitely caused enough of a headache here within the elite tier to, get themselves into that 3rd to 6th spot.
Yeah, they definitely did. And I was very impressed by both teams, I have to say. Unity, their mental, their comeback ability was so impressive to watch throughout that entire series. Having to come back from behind multiple times, that stands you in really good stead for the postseason. And AZG not giving up, right? 3-0 down, wanting to fight for that extra game, wanting to get themselves into those play-in spots. Very, very impressed by those guys as well. So I believe we can now bring back in the main man, Greybeard. And we've brought you 2 bangers, all right, Greybeard. You need the Rhino Muzz cast more often.
So first and foremost, we have a new word entering into the official lexicon. Comebackability is now a word. So there we go. And I think the story of the streamed games this season is 3-1. We have seen it so often, a team going, 3-0 and then choking that last one. But it is interesting for the permutations, because with 3 wins, Mzansi Magic jump up to second place. But Death Cloud are playing right now against White Rabbit. So it might only be for a few minutes that they are in second place. And then Azura, with their 1 win, tie for 6th place, but they are behind on goal difference. And the team they're tied for 6th place is Monarch, who is also playing right now. So the permutations continue, which is just brilliant. So again, going into the very final week, there is so much to play for so many teams. And what's nice about, teams like Omnia, Shadow, and Genisus are probably out of the running, but they can play spoiler. They can ruin parties for other people. And you know what? Sometimes there's some satisfaction in doing that. So they can decide who they like the least and play accordingly. So nothing decided. The end of week 8, we will still have so much more to be decided, and that's the way we love it. So, gentlemen, you have indeed brought us 2 bangers, and we thank you very much. And you got to cast the top tier and the second to top tier, where the Rocket League is pretty good. But I have to be honest, I think you're missing out on the real fun stuff, which is about to come up, which is Prospect, which honestly is my favorite tier to watch, my favorite tier to cast, and it is 2 Prospect games that we have to bring you. But Rhino and Muzz, your time on the clock is officially over. We'll be welcoming in new casters very shortly. But Rhino, Muzz, thank you for your service. It's been a pleasure having you, and we'll see you again soon. Alrighty, so we're halfway through the night. 2 done, 2 to go. 2 Prospect games coming up. And we see the schedule there. Death Cloud versus Monarch and Genisus versus Shadow. Now, the last one is pretty much a bottom of the table duke out for at least some respectability by the end of the season. Death Cloud, however, are doing quite well. And I realize now I'm actually looking at the wrong table, because Death Cloud and Monarch are riding very close. So, and Genisus and Shadows kind of close, but toward the bottom of the table. But a reminder of big shout out once again to our sponsors, Genesis Extreme, bringing us the broadcast week in and week out. Nearstream getting involved, supplying some equipment and prizes, and Slayer Energy Drink giving us the prize pool. And now, to bring us the final 2 series, please will you welcome to the main stage Borky and Narimazuki. Hello peeps, how are ya?
Yep, good to be back. Been a hot minute.
I realize I'm doing this more and more often, where I just throw it out there, and the 2 people in the call have no idea who's supposed to go first. So there's the very polite pause as each waits for the other to get going. Now, Borky, you're a mainstay. You've been here, it feels like week in, week out. However, on the other side, I feel like you've become a little bit of a stranger, and maybe we get you back from all the FPS games you love so much and bring you into Rocket League. Great to have you back, Nari.
Yes, I'm really chuffed to be back, as you said. Been flitting about here and there in other games, but back to the grassroots, back to the excitement that Rocket League brings to the South African scene. Looking forward to it, or SSA rather.
And speaking of grassroots, this is, for me, I said to the other guys, and I'll say to you, I love the Prospect tier. It is, you become, Bromeo said it very well, if someone hits a flip reset in Master, and you kind of yawn and move on, it's like all in a game's work. But down in Prospect, if you hit a flip reset, that guy is clipping it. That guy is having the game of his life. So it's just fabulous. And first up is Death Cloud and Monarch, Borky. It's another, like with Master, it is a second versus third place on the league table. So everything to play for.
Yeah, and I mean, last week we kind of got a very similar situation over in Elite. I mean, Joker's currently sitting at second. We know what that means at this point in the season with only 2 weeks left. Those top two, you automatically qualify for the semifinals, and that's a great place to be. And DevCloud, they're just sitting right below Monarch here. So a big win today, and not only that, but putting the first loss on Monarch is going to propel them into a great position.
Well, we saw one team who was undefeated, Cosmico, in Master, losing their first. And Sam, maybe tonight the turn of Jokers. They've had a great season, but you can't do it all at the beginning. You got to leave enough gas in the tank for the end.
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying it a couple times over the course of the evening, but there is still a whole nother week that needs to be played through before we even get to, the really important part, which is the playoffs. So, you're still fighting for that spot. But what is an interesting one here, and somebody mentioned this in the green room before we came live, but this is a battle between the team in Prospect with the most goals scored at 94, so the strongest attacking team, versus the strongest defending team, who have only conceded 38 goals all season. It's unreal. So this is going to be an absolute barn burner of a match.
That's a fantastic observation, actually. So, I think either way it's going to be a banger, and a reminder that the Jokers, the Prospect team, are the defending champions of Prospect RSC. So they've got that little bit of extra weight of expectation on their shoulders. But Sam Borky, over to you. Bring us a banger.
Well, thank you very much, Greybeard. And a banger, this one is going to be Mist versus Jokers. We heard the reigning champions of Prospect currently in a great position to defend that title, but they do play Mist this week. Next week is Cosmico, who is the #1 spot. So they need to make that statement here tonight if they want to hold on to that top 2 positioning. But Mist, I mean, we talked about they're that team that has conceded the least amount of goals. It's going to be a big battle of what wins championships, offense or defense.
Yeah, it's a really tough one. I mean, we talk about it all the time, when you can see the teams are really keeping the pressure up, but there's a defending team that's just not allowing them in, but no one's really scoring a goal because there isn't a lot of that counter pressure. You're not really like closing the gap and getting into the enemy's half and finding an opportunity for yourself to start getting scores. You're just constantly kind of playing on the defensive, and a really strong attacking team is generally going to win out in that war of attrition, because if you find yourself in a situation where you've maybe run out of boost, or you can't really match that pressure, you're going to tire out. And at that point, the attacking team generally is going to be able to come out on top of that one. So it's really important for Mist, it feels like, that they should be able to match that aggression a little bit and not just be constantly playing that defensive game. We need to see a lot more out of them, because we talk about, the number of goals over the course of the season. And I mean, they're not sitting too shabby. They're sitting at about 64, which is it's not the lowest by any measure, but it's not 94. It's not this ridiculous overbearing number that looked really, really scary. So hopefully we can see a little bit more of an aggressive game out of them today.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned boost, because I feel like this one is definitely going to be a battle of resources. Whoever controls that boost a little bit better, I think, has the edge, in my opinion. So keep a close eye onto that as we now get onto the field. It's time to play the #2 versus the #3. Who's going to come out on top?
Kick things off now with limited control. It's been good so far to kind of keep things into a middling area, but starting to see a little bit more of that back and forth. And this is one of the things that we love so much about Prospect. It's very scrappy. It's kind of all over the place. We talk about the excitement of the grassroots, the players that are kind of finding their footing and figuring out what their style is, and you know how they're going to best utilize their mechanics. And this is a perfect example of it, right? Really back and forth. Neither one of the teams looking like they're getting a massive amount of control just yet. So it is just going to be that continuous kind of ping pong for the moment.
Yeah, and it does take a little bit for that pressure to kind of develop here in the Prospect League. You know, you just got to get your feet settled, figure out what your opponent is really all about. Because again, in Prospect, I mean, not to take anything away from these players, but you're not going to see the kind of rotations that you'll see over in Masters. It's a lot more of just still getting the fundamentals started. But I do have to appreciate, we talked about DeathCloud were that best defending team, but right now they've done a majority of that offensive pressure before this one does find its way towards net. That's a great save to pop it up. Chaos puts it aside as well and does get a follow-up touch, so DeathCloud will continue to navigate through these murky waters, but Monarch, they're starting to ramp up now.
Yeah, definitely seeing a little bit of kickback, but ball not quite getting its way into the net, unfortunately, so we're going to keep going a little bit more back and forth here. And as you said, it's good to see DeathCloud missed really kind of putting on the pressure here and not just rolling over. That was so close. And this is one of the other issues that we've seen in this tier as Crevenator finally gets that first score. But so often we'll see the ball rebounding off the post, or you know, it takes a couple of taps before it finally finds that way in. But Monarch winning out the battle of attrition here and finding that first goal.
And it's just really good positioning here for Monarch as well. That's what makes this offense click so well, is that you just have somebody in the right place, right time. That's a great save there from Keegs. But, I mean, again, it's just Monarch. They're already behind this ball. They already have somebody blocking DeathCloud's potential route for escape here on defense. And we're going to have to see how they can hold on. The boost is very low. The only one that has boost in the tank is Chaos, and he's far from that play. So it's a good play from Keegs to at least flip the pitch for a little bit, but with how Monarch has been behind this ball, you have to wonder if it's going to hold on. But wait, if an awkward bounce with the post, it's going to be a pool shot too, and Chaos is the one accredited for this.
Oh man, that's unfortunate. They bump into each other, so they both kind of stall out a little bit as they try and regain their footing, gather a little bit of spacing, and in that awkward moment as they're trying to find their footing once more, snaked straight down the middle, brought back to an even kilter, but already the pressure is up for Monarch. Already managed to get the goal, or the ball rather, all the way into the enemy half, and they're keeping that up so hard, but a little bit of fight back here from DeathCloud as well. Not willing to concede it, but concede it they will. Swifty Rocks with a relatively quick return for the second goal.
Oh, and it just looks like the ball took an unfavorable bounce there off of that back wall. And again, Monarch, right place, right time. That seems to be the story for them this season. And again, there's so much at stake here, not only for playoff contention, but just the bragging rights. But it's a quick counter. Oh, and DeathCloud, their opportunity to get equalized is going to bounce off the post and crossbar before finally out. It sets up Monarch an opportunity, but we'll just have a bit of a stalemate here at the midfield line. Chaos picks it up, flicks around one. That was a great touch. Follow up here from Future. Not going to be able to beat out Monarch, but it's some good patience. It allows Keegs, that third man, to get DeathCloud right back onto the offensive.
Really solid intercept so far, but DeathCloud very much putting up the pressure at the moment. Oh, just missing that little tap to try and get it in towards the goal, and now we've moved all the way back down the pitch. It looks like Monarch are firmly back in the control for the moment, but it's a little bit erratic. It looks like it's control, and certainly in the enemy half, but it's not clean. And off the back of that, DeathCloud can quickly convert, bring back the control into their possession, but they're also not quite finding the synergism that they want. And oh, it's just going to keep going back and forth. We're down to only a minute remaining. And if DeathCloud don't do something quickly, Monarch may yet snag this game away.
I mean, but DEFCON's certainly knocking on the door of that net there. They've gotten a couple more shots since they've conceded that second goal. They haven't rolled over and gone away easy. I was expecting them to be playing a lot more defense than they have been in the series. So it's a very promising look for how things are going to continue to play out. But right now, they need to escape their own side of the pitch. Only 30 remains. It's reminding everybody on the screen as well. Ball bounces down. Chaos is going to beat out. That one's up towards the backboard. Follow-up rebound. Swifty puts that one away, increases that lead, and it could be the dagger.
Oh, that was beautiful. And Future Life tries so desperately to try and stop it, but he's so far into the goal that there's no universe in which he's going to be able to meet the ball and get it out of contention. So Monarch now up to 3, and with 20 seconds left, deathcloud need to get 2 goals, and that aggression that we needed to see from them, unfortunately, hasn't quite shown up in the way that they've needed it to. They have managed to do a lot. They've managed to keep Monarch on their toes for the longest time, but it hasn't been quite enough. With just mere seconds remaining, Monarch gonna try to get that ball dead, and we're keeping it in contention. It's up in the air, and now it's gonna be a battle in the skies as we try to get one more goal, but will be denied. The ball will hit the ground, and that will be the Jokers winning the first game of the series.
Ooh, and one thing that is very certain for me is that both of these teams are just going to increase their play style lead that they have along the conference. I mean, that is 3 more goals conceded for DEFCON, but look at those saves. That is ridiculous. And then, of course, Monarch, that now puts them up to 97. They're only 3 goals away from breaking that 100 mark.
That's crazy. We haven't even gotten to the playoff stage yet. But yeah, I mean, having, 9 saves throughout this entire series. But this again speaks to Monarch's aggression, because that means that they made 12 attempts at the goal. And sure, 9 of them were blocked, but 3 still went through. Now, if they make 3 less attempts, well, maybe they don't win this game. Maybe, maybe we see a different lineup happening here. So that defensive line certainly is making a big difference. But again, the aggression that we're constantly seeing out of Jokers is definitely a problem. And there needs to be an answer for that, right? We're going to go into our second match really soon. And that's going to be kind of the last chance for deathcloud to get themselves on the board in a way that might net them a win. Obviously, if they lose this one, then we still have a few more games to go, but there's no way that they can win the series. So to keep themselves in contention for that top 2 spot, it's really important that they pull up their socks here.
Well, for DEFCloud, this one is more than crucial. They have hopes of putting the first loss in the column for Monarch this season. They've drawn twice, but they don't have an official recorded L. So DEFCloud, they need to put that on them if they have hopes of sneaking into that top 2 spot, and this is a great time to do it now. Ball does bounce into the midfield. It is Swifty, was such a crucial striker for Monarch in that first game, unable to get it this time, but the pressure is unrelenting here. Monarch just seems to have everything kind of figured out in this midfield. They don't allow DEFCloud too much room to breathe.
Still kind of just hanging out for the moment. Again, that superior defensive line keeping them from moving towards the goal, and that's a good start. But now we start moving in towards enemy goal territory. No! Just missing the ball there. That could have been phenomenal, but Chaos is there to try to keep it back in their possession. Unfortunately, he's also going to kind of get knocked away at the final moments, and every time it looks like DEFCloud are in with an opportunity, can finally start finding a little bit of space for themselves, Monarch are there, ready and waiting to get that last second touch in and keep the ball out of their hands. DEFCloud struggling desperately to find an opportunity here.
I'm not certain if DEFCloud have recorded a shot on net yet. Here's going to be the first one, though, and I mean, it's just going to roll in a little bit, but for Chaos, I'm sure he'll take that because it's DEFCloud that strikes first.
That's hilarious. I'm not gonna lie, man. If you're Monarch, you're just going, what the hell just happened, guys? How did it rolled its way around the side of the stadium and then just kind of walked itself into the net? That's crazy. Mono going to be kicking themselves a little bit for that one, but still a lot of time for recovery here. For deathcloud, this needs to be the catalyst to success for them, and so we'll continue to intercede here and try and stop that ball from making its way over, trying to keep it in the enemy territory. Oh, it's a beautiful second goal from Chaos Z. A lovely little layup there from Future Life, and that brings them up to 2.
What a pass that is. I mean, Chaos just kind of snuck themselves up that center line. We're waiting patiently in front of net, and all Future Life had to do was beat out one, gets that little flick over, and, well, it's just deathcloud. They look like the ones that have the offensive goals put up this season with the way they've been playing in this second game, but Swifty trying to get something returned here. It's going to be a nice save there from Keeg, stuffs it out. Future Life battle on the goal line. This one goes across 2 players from Monarch. We're in net, so no real threat behind it, and it allows Chaos an opportunity to get another counter attack going here.
Around and around we go, back and forth. There's some decent presence here from deathcloud, but oh, we've run away with it. We're getting so close now to the enemy line, but right hot on the tail, Future Life keeping that control, stopping that from running away and getting crazy momentum when they really don't want it to. Again, it's Monarch there, ready to try and get it back into their control. And this ball is really struggling to get much airtime. There's been a lot of these kind of awkward, stalled out moments because it's just been so back and forth. He's done that. That was the most ridiculous goal I think I've seen just yet. It barely looked like it was an attempt. It was a touch. It was a slight nudge, and it just went straight into the goalpost.
I mean, Keegs is a very well-known name within the SSA scene. I've seen them countless times, and if you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. The ball was barely away from the wall. They saw an opening. They took it. And look at this here from Chaos. Pre-jumping that one, almost connected for what would have been another goal of the game, but instead it allows Monarch back in. But I mean, their pressure just feels very lackluster in comparison to that first game. They get downfield, yes, but they don't really have anything developed behind it. They just kind of give the ball away. It's Chaos again, already up for this one. This one takes a bounce off the side. Pose, Keep shot is kept out, but Future is here. deathcloud are mounting the offensive pressure. And I mean, it just feels like both of these teams are completely flipped.
And the craziest part is that for deathcloud, if they revert now to their defensive maneuvering, there's a good possibility they just win out this game because Monarch will struggle to break through. But they've still been given enough space to continue putting up the pressure. And that's what's so scary right now, is that it definitely feels doable to get even a fourth goal in as we hit that 1 minute mark. But Monarch are desperate to try and get themselves just one extra goal, just a little bit more room to play with as the time continues to tick down. They want to hit that 100. They want to try and bring this back into a contestable scenario, but it's just not going the way that they want. The ball's just not cooperating all the way back down the pitch once more. Chaos there to meet it off with the pass. That could have been beautiful, but again, just a little bit too far to the one side. 30 seconds remaining, and we're back now in the deathcloud half.
I mean, even with these not going in for deathcloud, though, it's killing so much of this clock. Monarch is running out of time to make up for 3 goals. I mean, it feels a little bit out of the realm of possibility. Again, just these passes aren't getting in front of net. deathcloud seem to have the number now. They're reading these plays before they can develop. That's a huge clear there for Chaos. That's going to seal this game. We might get one for the road for Monarch, but as ball just floats around here, finally touches ground. It's a beautiful response from deathcloud to answer back to how Monarch came into game 1 so dominantly, and then you just shut them out. The door is closed.
This game, deathcloud only had 2 saves. That's wild, and that again speaks to the fact that it really was just deathcloud. The mist really did kind of lower itself over the pitch here, and Monarch, well, I couldn't see the wood for the trees. Didn't really manage to, I mean, they made 3 shots in the entirety of this one, and unfortunately not a single one of them connected. A very disappointing performance, you know, presumably, right? I think they will be disappointed in themselves, given how much of a dominant performance they've had thus far. But for DeathCloud, it's that stay of execution. It's that little bit of room to breathe now. There's still an opportunity here for them to walk away with this victory and maybe secure a spot in the top 2.
I mean, it definitely just allowed DeathCloud right back into this series. You know, if you did drop this game, yes, if you win the next 2, it's a draw technically, but it will keep Monarch at that 2-game win lead ahead of you. But with this one, I mean, hey, it's still 2 ahead of you, but you have 2 more games to potentially close that, if not catch up entirely for the top 2. And again, 1 more week after this, everything comes down to the line. And for Monarch, they're playing Cosmico, who is currently 7-0, but with 1 draw. So they're sitting at number 1, and that's a very tough matchup. So if DeathCloud can close some of that ground, they have a really good chance of stealing it in the last week. But again, we just need to see that same exact performance from them. And for Monarch, I mean, the stakes never feel higher.
We'll kick straight into our 3rd matchup here, and Monarch once again, pressure mounting, trying to gather themselves a little bit of control here. Future Life tries to get a little bit sneaky there, but doesn't quite manage to get the angle he wants. Nice little save there, just denying that ball from getting through it. A goal this early, I think, would be devastating for the Monarch squad. They've now managed to regain the control themselves, trying to push their way ever closer to that goal line, but Keegs not allowing it. Krivinator from the back line manages to get a little bit more space, but Chaos has lobbed it across the field already.
Again, DeathCloud, where has this offense come from? They don't have the most goals scored here. That's Monarch that we're talking about. But yet, they're just making it seem like they're exactly up there on par with that caliber of offense. And Monarch just kind of feels stalled out. It's these quick challenges, too, from DeathCloud. They're not giving respect. They're not giving space. They're making sure Monarch feels their presence here on the pitch. Eventually, they will get a full tank of boost here over on this wall. We'll try to get this inward pass, but again, just broken up before it can develop.
Slowly whittling away the time here, and again, that battle of attrition starts to become a little bit of a problem. No way. Oh, if that had got in, that would have been so beautiful. They stall out the momentum, but there it is. I love that. So they stall the momentum of the car. They try to get the boop in, but it bounces off the top, and somehow they regain control. Chaos in the right place at the right time to pull things back into their control and get the goal that they tried to set up originally. That was beautifully done. And DeathCloud now will take the first goal of game number 3.
I mean, you said that perfectly. It was just so smart there from Future. Just slowing things down, causing the 2 Monarch players to panic a little bit on the goal line. And by then, I mean, DeathCloud, they were all over that ball. They do take a lead yet again, the first ones to score. It doesn't look like they're going to let their foot off the gas here. Chaos keeps this one in. It is collected there by Krivinator, but still just pushed in. Here comes Keegs up for this one. Good clearance on the backboard, but I mean, it just really feels like Monarch are now stuck on their own half. You can see Chaos throwing in the demos as well, disrupting the goal line. That's 2 players now deleted from Monarch, and it just really messes up your rotational ability.
Well, they're finding a way to get themselves back into it. Krivinator snatches the ball away, and he's already so close to that goalpost. But Future Life, once again, just constantly running interference and trying to be a little bit of a disruption here for the Monarch squad, and has been doing so beautifully. They've been trying to get these layups all day long, but just not quite finding the openings that they need. DeathCloud's defense just proving to be a problem round after round, minute after minute. Gets so dangerously close, but again, it's Chaos. Lobs it away from the goalpost, and Monarch now scrambling to regain some of that control as Chaos making his way on over. Krivinator lobs it back down once again, but Future Life with the return. Swifty Rocks has to desperately get himself into position here, and DeathCloud just keeping up this pressure.
Yeah, and it's not like for the pressure either, they're overcommitting. We could see Chaos was so far back there as that 3rd man, but that allows him, as the ball is cleared in that long boom, just instantly puts it right back in, keeping that pressure up. We'll see here though. He's trying to get that pass over there to Swifty Rock. It's a big bump, but Swifty still behind that, lots of shot on net. It's a great save from Chaos, but he's still behind this ball, gets a touch, but the teammate jumping in for it a little bit too far away from that one, and it allows DeathCloud right back in.
Feels like nobody's in at the moment, or maybe nobody's out. So we're just kind of back and forth and not really seeing solid control here. There's a lot of territory control, that's quite obvious, but no one's managing to find themselves in a winning position. DeathCloud hanging on to that one goal that they got a little bit earlier on and trying with all their might to make sure that Monarch can't get another one, can't equalize the score and take us into an overtime. No ways, Chaos. Oh, in the chaos of that round, a little flip and a boop, and the ball is in before you even know what happened, and unfortunately not able to get into a position to deny it from going through. So DeathCloud go up to 2. They give themselves that little bit more of a buffer to work with, and Monarch have 35 seconds to get 2 goals.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility again, but with this DeathCloud defense and how stellar they've been not only this series but all season long, it makes that challenge so much more daunting. Right now, we'll see Crevenator taking us off the side while pushing this down, but look, it's just Chaos waiting for this one, served on a silver platter, pushes it downfield, kills more of that clock. This game of keep away is perfect for DeathCloud, and they're perfectly fine just letting these waning seconds tick away because it's impossible for Monarch to catch up. Now ball touches ground. DeathCloud jump up to 2. And they are really giving Monarch a run for their money.
This has been a really incredible one. I think clearly the most even footing we've had so far between these two teams. The first game was quite a dominant Monarch performance. The second one, a very dominant DeathCloud performance. And as you come on to game 3 here, so back and forth. But that DeathCloud defensive line, we've kind of spoken about it at length so far throughout this series, and it does feel like that's the thing, the very thing that has come to fruition here and made it so much more difficult for Monarch. Now with DeathCloud sitting at a 2-1 overall scoreline, Monarch have no chances of winning out this series. The very best that they can hope for is a tie. It's not an ideal scenario for them, but it might just give them a little bit more kind of room to breathe as we look towards, who's going to get those top 2 spots. And if they can snag this last game, then maybe they can hold on to it for dear life.
Yeah, I mean, DeathCloud, again, just right outside of reach of that top 2. Only one game separates them here. And we saw 3 goals from Monarch in the first game. We said, hey, only 3 goals away from 100 goals this season. They've been shut out 2 games in a row by DeathCloud. That's how good that defense is and how good they are at just controlling the pitch. And for Monarch, well, you are looking at potentially your first loss of the season. Again, the only 2 teams in Prospect undefeated are Cosmico and Monarch, and DeathCloud, they're looking to give them their first loss and potentially sneak into that number 2 spot.
Bearing in mind that Monarch, of course, they're trying to hold on to that crown. So a loss here would be quite devastating, but not the end of the world. You have to remember there is still another week to get through. So as we get into our last game of the series, Future Life once again, another beautiful shot from him. And in the first moments of the game kicking off, get that first goal in from DeathCloud. Honestly, I love the physics of Rocket League. I love that you can hit the ball from behind and the ball spins backwards into the goal. It's beautiful.
Well, maybe that'll be some encouragement for you to join us for more Rocket League instead of the frame-based shooter games. But yeah, DeathCloud just right back exactly where they left off, scoring early. And that one goal, I mean, they held on to it for so long. Eventually, they did find a second there near the end of the game. But that one goal just felt like such a daunting thing in the way of Monarch. It just kind of felt like they had to be a little bit more risky playing behind. They got a bit more impatient with some of their touches, and that panic can really lead to some blunders. So for Monarch, they are hoping to potentially get an equalizer here soon. We'll have 2 players contesting for it in the corner. A little bit of a team bump. Ball still in though. Future Life, can he clear it out? No, it's going to be dropped right down here to Swifty. Keeks though gets it out. Pushed right back in there from Lezial though. So Chaos gets behind this ball, and Chaos, that's a name we've said multiple times here, looking for a bit of a pass or solo play of themselves, but again, it's just that back and forth here that we're a little bit accustomed to.
It's certainly looking a little bit messy, particularly now because it's last game, kind of last chance saloon, and Monarch desperately want to take this one, not necessarily to advance themselves massively, but to stop Deathcloud from mounting the overtake. So it does become that little bit more important for them to be able to come out on top of the series. So we'll keep that very much, as you said, back and forth on a very, very even kilter here. Deathcloud not conceding even for a moment. We start making our way over, but it is going to be intercepted. Oh my god, interceptions on interceptions. Neither one finding that advantage that they're hoping for. Now we'll start making it down to the pitch again, but it's going to be intercepted yet one more time. Defensive line from Deathcloud seemingly unbreakable since game number one. They've already returned fire back down towards the other side of the pitch here, and unrelenting, they continue to maintain that control, but can they get it through the net? Can they find that second goal? Well, history would tell us yes, but Monarch may just have something to say about it.
Yeah, Monarch really do just need a response. It's been so long since they've gotten their last goal. It was 2 games, and then halfway through this one, and they're still scoreless. Deathcloud, this one's a huge shot. A lot of power behind it. Swift does get a touch, has to give his life for it, but it keeps Monarch only down 1 here. Easy up, nice booming clear. Causes 2 to go for Deathcloud, and it might be a little bit awkward, but Future Life instantly back behind this ball. And I mean, it's just that defensive pressure. But wait, an open net. Swifty, can he put it on? No, it's going to be Chaos that gets the clear.
An open net is never open for terribly long, even when it looks like there's a surefire goal right on the horizon. Deathcloud arrive out of God knows where, and that ball does not go in. The reactions from this squad have been phenomenal as we get closer and closer to the 1 minute mark, and Monarch yet to score. They haven't scored a goal since game number 2. Maybe it would be this one, but unfortunately not. That's one of those moments where you need a teammate. You need someone who can pivot off of that. Oh, it's so close, but we're just there. It is finally at last. A little bit messy, a little bit labored, but Monarch finally get another goal.
Oh my goodness, that one just felt like forever there in front of net. Monarch was unrelenting, finally breaking that deadlock that they've been in for so long. And that was at such a crucial time. It came off the back of a huge demo as well, because that Deathcloud line was not faltering anytime soon without it. Chaos, though, downfield. He has Future Life playing fullback for him. He gets that around on top of the net, over and out. Future, great passing. Keeks, he slots that one away, and Deathcloud resume their lead.
This is what I was saying about having a teammate there, somebody ready and waiting to take that from you, to take the pass, to take the layup, whatever the case may be, to find the gap, the chink in the armor, and to exploit it where necessary. And that's exactly what they needed Keeks to do in that moment. Now, down to only 30 seconds remaining in our final game of this match, and Monarch on a heavy back foot at the moment, goal down. Need to find an opening, an inkling, a moment, but they're not even in there in the enemy half yet. They still have to make their way down the pitch, down to only 10 seconds left, desperately clawing their way to the other side, but Deathcloud will not allow it to happen. They've pulled it away. It's on the other side of the pitch once again, 1 second remaining, and it touches down to the ground. Deathcloud with a 1 goal difference in this game snag this entire series. They started at a 1-0 deficit in game number 1, but they made a massive resurgence at the end there.
3 in a row for Deathcloud to take this series. Monarch, welcome to the Losers Club, as harsh as it sounds, but they do have to put that up there on the board. And this does put Deathcloud into such a great position now. They're now tied with that game wins with Monarch. So, I mean, I'll have to see once all is said and done if there is any shifts in that number 3 and 2 spot. But they're in a very good way. I mean, it just looks great there for Death Cloud. I was not expecting that performance. And I do want to hear the opinion of Mr. Graybeard himself on what he felt about that game.
So there are only two teams who are undefeated this season in the entire RSC across all 4 tiers, and both of them are Cosmico. Cosmico over in Master, and tonight they fell. And then over in Prospect, Cosmico. No, it was the turn of the Jokers to finally register their first defeat. So now the only remaining undefeated team is Cosmico in Prospect. And my goodness, hasn't this opened up a mouth-watering climax in week 9? So as you've quite rightly pointed out there, Borky, Jokers and Death Cloud Esport Mist are locked, tied for second place on 24 wins. But the goal difference, I'm not sure how much Death Cloud's goal difference changed tonight, because they were only separated by 7, and so they would have closed that gap a little bit. So it is really, really close for that second place spot. But my goodness, Cosmico looking set there. Nauri at the top, locked in. As close to locked in as we've been, but with 1 week to go and only 1 game difference, so it's still very tight.
It is tight, but I think that, based on how so many of these dynasties have fallen, particularly today, teams that have been undefeated that are now being served their first loss of the season to get closer and closer to the finish line. Teams are desperate to claw their way to the top. So no one is safe at any point. You cannot rest on your laurels. And I think that this was proven to us, not only obviously in Master, but in this game as well. We spoke so much about Death Cloud's defensive line. And boy, did they show us an offensive line that Joker really had no idea how to deal with. So you can never count any of these teams out.
And coming into that last week, I mean, I really think this is the closest across all tiers that RSC has been since our inception. With 1 week to go, it is still a massive fight in every single tier for those top 2 positions, and then of course the four play-ins positions. So it's just fabulous to see. But that does bring us to our last game of the night, lady and gentlemen, because it's now a sort of battle at the bottom. Teams who are looking to rescue a little bit of respect or a little bit of dignity as we come to the close, because we're going to be having it is Genisus and Shadow, who are 8th and 9th position respectively, both on 10 game wins. So Borky, a battle at the other end of the league table.
Yeah, it's we'll get to see both sides of Prospect here tonight. But I mean, I do feel that the stakes are just as important for this game. Even if we are at the bottom of the table, that number 6 spot does get into the playoffs. And I mean, we do have Nightwalkers sitting at 11 game wins. I'm not sure how their game has gone or if they played it yet. But I mean, for either of these teams, if they get a pretty flawless match here tonight, they put themselves in a good spot for that last week to potentially sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, if one of these 2 teams sweeps here, they could jump from either 8th or 9th spot, bang, right into 5th spot. So so it's certainly not all over. But let's get into the action. I'll hand over to you to bring us our final series of the night.
Thank you very much, Graybeard. And yes, still, like I said, you can never count anybody out. And that's exactly what we are saying now about 2 of our lower ranked teams. Unfortunately, it's been a bit of a rough start to the season for them, but there is still a pathway. There's still a possibility, a realm in which they can nab themselves a spot in those playoffs. And of course, I'm very much looking forward to seeing, can they actually do that? And which one of these 2 teams can make that dream a reality?
Yeah, and it really is not over until it is over. I mean, again, 1 week, you have a chance tonight. That's what this entire day has been, is your chance to prove yourself and make your season in your own hands. There's no other factors outside that really control it besides your performance on the pitch. And for both of these teams, it's a chance tonight to save that season and get to play a little bit more after week 9. But I mean, both of these teams do have to make a very compelling argument here. Again, bottom of the table. It is close, though. Again, Greybeard was mentioning it's very close amongst all the tiers. And I just want to credit that to how good the community has been and how much the community is going to continue to evolve and really come into its own. So we'll just have to see who's going to come out on top tonight, Genisus or Shadow.
Yeah, that's what makes these so important. You know, we've spoken a little bit about grassroots and how important that is, but this is the arena. This is where these players find their footing, figure out their play style, figure out who they are and how they want to compete in Rocket League, and, you know, start formulating those goals for themselves and ways to get there and getting that practice in, playing with a bunch of different players, playing in a competitive environment, getting that experience under their belt. It all makes a massive, massive difference. And as said, right, it starts here. And hopefully one of these two teams will find a way, because I'm a big lover of the upset, quote unquote upset. And I think that for the teams that are currently listed 3rd to 6th at the moment, the prospect of losing out one of their places is it's a little bit of a scary one, and they certainly don't want that to happen. So they'll be preying on the downfalls, or at the very least, very, very close, low goal scoring matches between these two teams as we kick off now our first match, or first game of match number 2 of the evening. And Shadow taking a very quick little bit of control here, not quite getting that goal in, but it got a little scary there for a second.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to come out and make your name and presence felt instantly on the pitch. Genisus, well, they can breathe a little sigh of relief, because that did go to the wayward side, that shot, and it's going to be a quick opportunity to get one here. No, but it's a great save from Skippy. The angle a little bit too tight there. And Shadow, they'll hold on, and we'll see ourselves potentially surviving this first minute scoreless.
Seems that way. We're still kind of battling back and forth a little bit. Yeah, very, very scrappy. Similar to what we saw in our first match of the previous game, or the first game of the previous match as well. It takes you a minute. You got to get yourselves warmed up a little bit here. Find your footing, find that rhythm. See where the game is going to take you, as now Shadow has reclaimed control, trying to go for a bit of a score line there, but instantly intercepted, interceded, and control grasped back by Genisus. Now Shadow a little bit more on the defensive, have to try and regain some of that control, but Genisus just not in the position here. We're getting layups, we're getting positioning, but there's no one available to try to follow that up, and unfortunately these opportunities are falling by the wayside.
But we'll see another shot put up here for Genisus. Again, it looks like these shots just are missing the mark by the slightest margin. They can just hone it in, get it all lined up. I can feel that this one has the potential to be high scoring, because again, both of these teams pretty decent offense. The defense, though, according to the goals conceded, haven't really been the best. They're very even on that category. So I could just see this one being an absolute shootout from beginning to end once it does finally start to land.
And land it shall. Beautiful little goal there from high frequency. Nice little tap there as the ball's making its way across. And that's literally from the other side of the pitch. But Genisus not in position to intercept or intercede. Nothing to give themselves that little bit more room to work with. As we kick off already, Shadow, well, they don't necessarily have control of the ball. They've moved it into the enemy half. We've got a demo as well. Try and maintain that control, and it's going to make its way over towards the goal post, but no. Oh, it bounces off the ground, and the follow-up from Skippy is not quite getting the leverage that they wanted, but we're still keeping the ball highly in contention here. A little bit of a boost to try and regain that control, but up high in the sky, Genisus trying to move it back over towards the other side. Now they know they have to play a little bit more of a defensive game. They can't allow what happened previously to happen again. The problem is if you get a little bit too far in your own head, well, you're not going to have enough to actually put the pressure up. Looks like now they are finally starting to get a little bit of pressure in, but Shadow just constantly intercepting.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they put all of their traits into thievery the way that they're just picking Genisys' pocket here for the ball. We'll see Yash trying to take us off the sidewall again. A big interception, but he does manage to muscle it through this time until it finds high frequency waiting on the other side for that one. Skippy keeps this in. Will Waterfall in front of net, denied though from the backboard by Yash. High frequency leaves this one here for Joe. That's a great play because it allows high frequency some room to sneak up this center field line, keeping this ball in. Shadow, they're starting to suffocate. Oh, but Joe, that touch there will allow Yash in. Does have an open net. Can he sink the double? Doesn't connect. Follow up there from Fog. No. And Genisus still remains scoreless until now.
Oh, that's an unfortunate one as well. We get so much space taken, and Shadow putting up a massive fight there. Almost looks like an own goal for half a second, but it was Aragorn that laid it up beautifully, bounces it off, gets that goal in. 1-1 now with just over a minute remaining. Now both teams heavily gonna step on the accelerator a little bit. Yeah, you don't want to go into overtime. You want to make sure that you go in with an actual lead. Playing relatively removed from one another now, just trying to find a bit of leverage. Shadow feels like they're just trying to play the clock down a little bit, but control does get given back over to the Genisus squad. In a good position here to try to get that layup, try to get an opportunity. Keep stealing that ball away, denying that space. Now moving ever closer to the Genisus goal line, but Yash pushes it back towards the other side. We're just going to keep going back and forth. Neither one really finding the spot. Not finding that information, that moment, but high up in the sky, down to the 30-second mark. It gets laid up, but it doesn't quite find the mark.
Oh, and this is the beauty of Prospect here, because you just never really know who your favorite's going to be. All it takes is one bounce, one beautiful touch. That one does connect with Joe, but he was a bit too close to the wall. That would have been an opportunity for Shadow to steal this game away. Instead, it's Yash flipping the pitch. Open net, can't get behind the ball, though, and it's Joe becoming the hero. He'll send this one downfield. Skippy, can he put it away? 0 seconds, he connects, and Shadow will hold on, and they'll take game number 1.
That's insane, man. That is a beautiful goal to behold. That was quite genuinely from the other side of the pitch, the kind of craziest pass imaginable. And there's a part of me that would love to have been in the comms in that moment. Was that all orchestrated? Was it just the most perfectly planned goal imaginable? Or was Lady Luck just on their side? Who's to tell? But the fact of the matter is, it's Shadow who will take our first game of this match with only a 1-goal lead, down to the wire in the very last second, but it's theirs nonetheless.
Ooh, and what a way to end a game as well. I'm sure that's a confidence booster, get you jumping out of your seat. Those 0-second goals always feel so rewarding, especially when it just lines up exactly in your favor. But I mean, looking at these stats here between these two teams, very even. I mean, 3 saves recorded for both of them. The only thing that Shadow did have the edge on is they just had 2 more shots recorded than Genisus, but it was very back and forth. A lot of it felt like a good game of tennis.
And Yash with like 43 touches, clearing everyone else. I mean, that dude is all over the pitch. He is everywhere, anywhere with the ball. He's like a golden retriever, man. Ball, 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 ball. He's just there all the time. Whether it's intercepting, passing, trying to go for those goals, he's constantly involved, and that's fantastic. That's what you need, and we need to see a little bit more of that as we head into game number 2 now, because it's all good and well to be getting those touches, getting those passes, getting involved in those fights, but if you can't get it over the finish line, if you can't get it through the goalpost, well, it's not going to amount to much.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, there was a lot of shots recorded in that game. It just felt like some of them were just so close to going in, and then it was just that crossbar or the post. that they had a bit of an argument with that kept it out, playing a great fourth defender for both of these teams. But again, just narrowed that margin just a little bit in. And I think that, again, that scoring is going to open up here. But it was a very, very good game from both of these teams. And we could see the one thing that, Graybeard talked about it. We talked about in the green room, how fun Prospect is, because you'll see players going for some of these mechanical shots. And there's a couple times that I thought Yash, for example, was going to hit one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate that they don't always go to plan, and it's great to see that they're trying to emulate some of the, more incredible players throughout the Rocket League scene, not just obviously locally, but all across the globe. You want to be able to do those things, and the only way to know if you can do it is to try. So try, and then try one more time as we head into our second game of match number 2 for the, match number 4 for the evening, now that I think about it. Our second match, so Max was a little bit off there, but Shadow, again, heavily in control here, trying to close that distance, playing off of each other perfectly, but again, those intercepts are fantastic, and Yash ready and waiting to receive. The layup is good, but unfortunately the follow-up is not where it needs to be, and control will start to flip back over to Shadow.
See High Frequency here trying to take us a long way along this sidewalk here. Yash will be the one that breaks it up, but Skippy's is in play, trying to get Shadow back onto the board early here if they can. It's Aragon getting beat out here by Joe. Ball, a little bit of an argument here between two teammates on whose turn it is to go, and as a result, Shadow allowed themselves right back into the other side. It's a little bit of a stalemate here for the time being, but a majority of this pressure going in favor of Shadow until Yash does come across field, gets it to the backboard, and sinks it in with a double.
That genuinely looked like it wasn't going to go in. I think there was a last second touch there that redirects the ball back in towards the goalpost. So really well done there. Great use of momentum. And Genisus now will find the first goal in this game. Remember, Shadow, they got the first goal in the previous, and unfortunately not allowed to replicate that once again. We spoke about Yash being involved in all of these touches, constantly being involved in, everywhere where the ball is, on top of it from start to finish. And, well, that certainly doesn't seem to have changed now in this second game. Shadow trying to find an in here. They're giving over a little bit of control, but they're finding themselves in good position. Another thing that I've noticed is that there aren't too many of these aerial battles. Every now and then we'll see a nice little kick up into the sky. Maybe we'll get a little bit of a double. But for the most part, it's all on the ground, start to finish. And it's such a scuffle, but High Frequency, yet another goal for him tonight. And that's going to bring Shadow onto an even kilter with Genisus.
Oh, and you have to credit Skippy there on the goal line, just being so scrappy and physical for that one. I believe he got like 4 different touches in 50s before eventually High Frequency got in position to just put the ball that popped up away. And we'll see Skippy again trying to be the catalyst for the offense of Shadow here, puts that one in. It will be High Frequency that has to collect. Skippy again up towards the backboard into the middle. Fog's not going to be able to get a clearance there. Yash needs this 50 against Skippy if they have hopes of breaking Genisus out. But for right now, it feels like Shadow, there's trying to get pressure built.
Pressure does seem to be the name of the game here. Shadow managing to get a bit of control, but now it's about finding space, and find it they have. Ball goes right over the heads of Genisus, but not quite in the position to be netted in. Genisus now going to be able to pull things back into their quarter. That's an unfortunate one for Shadow. They gained so much ground, but not quite able to find the opening that they wanted. Now it's Genisus, in fact, that are finding themselves in a good position, but no, they've lost control. Frequency manages to pull it back into his control, and Yash has to ever be the golden retriever, constantly on this ball, trying so hard, but there's no one there to follow it up. Finally, Fog will get close in, try to close that gap. Again, it's Shadow shutting it down, disallowing that space. Skippies denies that movement from the ball as well, just when it looks like Genisus are going to start finding a little bit of room to work with. Shadow so up close and personal, not allowing them any space to breathe.
Yeah, and it kind of just feels like which team is going to get that touch that's just a little bit more favorable. Again, it was so closely contested in that first game. It's been so closely contested here. It's equal, and we're approaching that final minute. It's going to be a high frequency, though. His second goal of the game puts Shadow back into pole position to take this one away. And you can see, once again, it's Skippy, though, that sets up this play.
Down to about, just over a minute remaining. Shadow with a 1-goal lead now. Genisus, the pressure starts to mount. They really need to win this game to be in contention to try to win out the series. Baby steps, little by little, gaining that little bit of ground. But again, it's Shadow regaining that control. Holy! What a shot from high frequency. He's been getting some exceptional ones here, but again, it's Skippy. Lays it up perfectly. The tap from high frequency nets it perfectly right in the middle. And no one from Genisus can stop that momentum.
High frequency now with a hat trick is making sure Shadow have the perfect position to save their season and potentially sneak into that top 6 to make playoffs. They'll be able to come away with this one if they keep up the pressure in that stellar defense. And with that, they'll just be one step closer to making themselves a contender. We'll see Joseph trying to just keep this ball alive, keep it moving forward here for Shadow Fog. Big clearance there, but with this clock just continuing to tick away, it feels like Genisus really just needs some sort of miracle to at least have chances of potentially winning this series.
The pressure from Shadow is unbearable in these final moments. Genisus now playing such a strong defensive game for so long, but desperately needs something offensive, needs something to give the layup, but no! Ball goes the wrong way, maybe hoping to tap it backwards, lay up something, get it into a position to try to get a goal through, but going to be denied. A 3-1 victory this time for Shadow. And again, Yash, 44 touches in this game. The only one even close to that, 46. Only one even close to that being Skippy's, sitting at 42, which was what Yash had just about in that first game. So just consistently being a problem child. That number keeps ticking over, man. The maths is mathsing. It's almost at 50.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
And Yash accredited for that one goal that Genisus was able to put up. 3 of the shots recorded. Really is stepping up more and more as these games continue to go. And for Genisus, well, we just need to see that masterclass game from Yash, because you have to win the next 2 if you have hopes for a draw. If Shadow wins one more, they take away the series. But regardless, we will still play all 4 because that's how the format works.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the supportive game that Yash is playing at the moment, but we really need to see a little bit more of the follow-up. That's been one of the big kind of problem points it's felt like so far, where Yash is lining him up, but no one's knocking him down, unfortunately. So hopefully we'll see a little bit of a turn here, because as you've rightly said, the absolute best that we could get out of this is a draw. When I say the absolute best, I suppose the best case for it feels like for Genisus at this point, you know? I mean, there's a world here, obviously, where we get a full sweep from the other side, but for Genisus, they really do need to get these next 2 games under their belts if they want to have even an opportunity to try and keep contesting into our final week. But game number 3 now kicks off, and again, it's Skippy. No! Oh, devastation. The crowd may be going wild, but Genisus, the groans, the pain, it can be heard from miles away.
It just feels like nothing is going in favor of Genisus. It's off the kickoff. Only 2 seconds for Shadow to find their first goal. Again, we'll find another one here. It's Joseph off of a beautiful corner retouch here from Skippy's. Fog just not able to get in time for that. Yash racing for this ball. And Shadow, 2 goals scored now. Not even 10 seconds in.
Jeez, man. All right, now they've really put the pressure up. The fire is roaring. We are cooking with gas. Shadow now look to get themselves a third. Oh, this would be devastation. This would break the mental, it seems like. Genisus now have to fight back, not just for the sake of the series, but for the sake of their own ability to just keep powering through. We need some tenacity here from these players to keep themselves in a contestable scenario. Now we're starting to see a little bit of give and take, a little bit more presence here across the pitch. And again, it's Yash that's involved in a lot of these, but Fog is now trying to keep things in his control as well. Going to try and team up here a little bit with Aragorn. The demo, however, comes through. That's going to affect those rotations. That's going to put Fog in a little bit more of a dangerous spot. Has to play a little bit more passive. That's going to give so much space over to Shadow. So we'll move the ball back into the opponent's half, but not going to be allowed that goal just yet. All right, we'll keep denying. We'll keep denying, but Shadow keep the pressure hot.
One thing I do want to point out, and that I appreciate here from this Genisus side, is we saw Fog jumping into chat saying pity goals, don't worry. And that just kind of has to speak for the mental. You're down 2 in the series, 2 in the game, but it's still high. They have confidence in themselves, and that's the confidence I want to see them displaying here on the pitch. Bring it out. But right now, it seems to be the high frequency show as he's continuously getting control behind this ball. Yash trying to beat out Joso here, does manage to do so, but it's Skippy's that collect, pushes it right back down the other side into the midfield. Yash with a full take of boost will have a battle against Joso. Joso, not a lot of boost there, still manages to come away with that one. Ball finds its way in front of net only for a moment before Aragon does get a lovely touch. But for Genisus, we need to see some offense.
Boost management surely does seem to be a little bit of an issue here, but with that touch not quite where it needs to be. A second touch still not quite getting it in, unfortunately, and all the way from the backboard from Narnia, just about trying to intercept and get that ball in, but not going to be allowed. 3 attempts made, it feels like, but Genisus not quite finding the angles that they need. And Shadow, well, they'll take that to the bank every single day of the week. They're going to be absolutely celebrating. And now that they've regained that control, they've moved into enemy territory once again. They're in with an opportunity, but Genisus, there's that tenacity that I spoke of, not willing to concede control just yet. Shadow have to fight now for every single inch, but they may yet be winning out that battle.
Yeah, and it just feels like Shadow does have a little bit of an edge with some of these touches until Yash comes up for this one. Not able to connect. That would have been one for the highlight reels if he did get his car behind it. Instead, it's Joseph that gets his downfield. Skippies isn't going to be able to connect on that one either. And it allows Yash, though, to get Genisus right back into this game. We've called his name multiple times. You said how impactful and how all over the pitch he's been, and finally he's getting that shown here. And Genisus, some life here, and they cut that deficit to 1.
I love that. Put your body on the line, man, as the ball's making its way through. A drift to the right to make sure that no one from Shadow can get that save. It's going to allow them to finally get that goal in. And look at that right off of kickoff. Just that little bit of extra confidence was all that they needed. Playing off of it perfectly. A nice shot here from Fog. Right place, right time. We have an evened out scoreline, and there's still a minute and a half to go.
Said how Fog said not to worry. He's making us see exactly what he meant as he gets that equalizer. It was a great shot from him. He's putting respect on to the Scarab as well. It's a very interesting card choice. You don't see it too often, but you have to respect it. A huge shot comes in, and an even huger save there for Yash.
God, Yash. Very impressive stuff from him. He really is everywhere. And bearing in mind that that goal was literally from one side of the pitch all the way to the other side, but Skippies doesn't need to dribble it all the way down. He's just going to play off of his teammates' frequency, lines it up, and he knocks it straight in. Just that little bit of extra momentum garnered, and they'll bring themselves back up into winning ways. But Genisus now with still a little over a minute to equalize and maybe even take a lead here as we get a demolition right off of kickoff. That gives Shadow so much room to work with, but we're not quite going to be able to get that goal in. So Genisus now back on the offensive.
I mean, one thing I want to point out here is how Skippy has been performing. I mean, in the first 2 games we saw... Okay, hold on. Sorry. That was a little bit scary for my liking there on the goal line for Shadow. But back to Skippy. He's been that big pass maker, the playmaker for Shadow. But this game has 2 goals recorded to his name, showing that he can do it all himself if he needs to. And for Genisus, 30 seconds remain here to make at least an opportunity to get a draw in this series, but it's looking grim as this Shadow offense is just throwing heaters at your net.
And at least they're managing to keep up that defensive line and stop that 4th goal from coming through. But unfortunately, it doesn't net them the time that they need to get a goal in. It's just not quite angled adequately. Another touch, another opportunity, another possibility, but snatched away in the final moments. Obscurity taking this here, taking this game, and of course that will bring them into winning out on the series. But as you've mentioned, we are going to play out all 4 of our games, but all opportunity for Genisus to take a win, to take a lead, have been snatched away from them. That's a devastating way to end out week number 8.
Yeah, I mean, again, all these games are so close. I mean, we look at this 3-0 scoreline in the series, but it doesn't feel like that. I believe 2 of these games have been decided by 1 goal, and it does come down to those final seconds to decide who is going to come away with the game. We saw Shadow on a 0-second goal. Genisus there knocking on the door. Eventually, ball did touch ground. But for Shadow, we do have to give them praise. We talked about how close they were to sneaking in for that top 6. Well, that's 3 wins now. They were currently sitting at 10. That puts them up to 13. Snowball in the number 5 spot for White Rabbit Gaming have 13 wins. If they get 1 more, I mean, they have full potential to just catapult themselves into the playoff standings.
Oh, it's a very spicy one. And of course, I'm looking at Omnius because I think that Rise are like our only opportunity for being in a playoff for like any of the divisions. So I'm desperately hoping that no one knocks us out of our podium. But we're not the ones being spoken about today. Of course, last game of the day. And it is going to be a continuation here. Pride on the line and a few extra points where possible. As Shadow look to make this a 4-0 sweep, and Genisus just want to give themselves a little something, a pat on the back, something that they can walk away with and know that they did manage to succeed in some small way.
Yeah, and I mean, for Genisus, don't give up now. You might have lost the series, but everything is crucial as Aragon, he gets the scoring started here for us, and it's a great response for Genisus because every win matters, every goal matters, because it could definitely be the difference between playoffs or your season ending early.
Great opener from Genisus. I think it's the first time that they've managed to get the first goal of the game. So perhaps that'll be the confidence booster that they need to just kind of keep that rolling a little bit further and a little bit faster. Shadow now look to up the pressure. I did also see in that previous game, there was 7 shots made from Genisus. So Shadow, as oppressive as their offensive line looked, their defense was also exceptional. So for Genisus now, it is a massive uphill battle to keep themselves in contention and maybe even take an advantage, take a lead here. They've managed to do so far so good in this last game of the day to just keep Genisus at bay for the most part. You got that 1 goal in, but it's still early doors in the game.
Oh, but look at that touch there from Skippy. Had a quick little fadeaway shot towards the net. It was Genisus that read it out. We're able to get the save, hold on to this lead here. Yeah, great touch there off of the corner. Puts it midfield. Nobody's able to collect it, and it allows Aragon his 2nd goal here. And for Genisus to continue to increase this lead.
What an opening for it as well. I mean, he gets right into enemy territory there, man. Day 37, and they still don't know I'm a cat. Or, you know, however that meme goes. And he actually manages to steal the ball away in the final seconds. Lets it slip straight through the net. Beautifully done. Shadow now very much on the back foot and starting to backpedal a little bit, reeling from the aggression that they're seeing right now that they're not quite able to match up to. Give Genisus a little bit of time here, see if they can get themselves to a 3-goal lead. Remember, we still got 3 minutes left, so there is a lot of time to make some magic happen.
Yeah, especially the way this offense here for Shadow has been. They do have a lot of time to will themselves back into this. But, I mean, one of the trends that I've noticed here in RSC that I've seen all season long and countless games that I've been a part of as well is sweeps don't like to happen here. It feels like it's very rare. Whatever team is currently down 3-0 usually find a way to just, with their back against the wall, become an absolute unit, and you always scratch your head and say, where was that for the first 3 games? Right now, Genisus, they're looking to make that trend continue to be true, unless High Frequency has anything else to say about it. Will be stuffed out there before you can get ball midfield. Skippy not able to collect it, and allows Fog right back in. Joe Soap, though, beautiful position there on the pitch until, I mean, nobody from Shadow really goes for that one. And Yash, opportunity, but no.
Opportunity knocked, but unfortunately no one was at the door. So you got to make your own opportunities. You got to bash that thing down, and Genisus trying desperately, continuing to mount that pressure. We are living in Shadow's half at the moment. Finally, we'll see a little bit of space taken over towards the other side of the pitch. Oh, that was so very nearly, but there we go. Perfectly positioned from High Frequency. The first attempt doesn't go in, but he's in the right place. Joe Soap manages to just kind of get it into the right trajectory, and it's just a follow-up nudge ever so slightly forward that allows Shadow to get themselves their first goal here in our last game. Minute and 30 remaining. Again, still so much time. That is the beauty of Rocket League. The fact that you can get so much done in a matter of mere moments if you can get the timings right, if you can get your aggression just right, as now Genisus look to aggress down the pitch once more. But Shadow are on that ball like flies. Unfortunately, not going to be allowed to get that second goal just yet.
That was a must-have save there for Fog, and he comes away with it. Again, Shadow are looking to get a sweep. A sweep will put them in prime position to potentially save their season. Right now, they're already in a very good spot, debating the outcomes of some of the other prospect games, but a sweep here would definitely work wonders. Again, the only person that you can blame or credit for your season is yourself and your performance on the pitch. Genisus, though, they need to hold on to this lead. They can't let it be blundered. They were up 2 goals. It's only 1 now. 30 seconds left here, but I don't want to write Shadow off. We've seen their 0-second goals. We've seen what they've been able to produce. I just want to see some stellar gameplay here from Genisus, who have kept this game close. They've kept this series close, and now they have the perfect opportunity to at least get a win here.
Well, it looks like as the time continues to tick down, it's going to be a game of keep away as we try to deny any space. Ball is about to touch ground. It's so close. That could have been a third one just for, you know, just to send a little bit of a message, but not to be the case. Finally, Genisus will get themselves a game win in this series. And you know what, I gotta admit, I feel like it's a little bit of a spite win. You know, like, yeah, okay, you won the first 3 games. You're not getting a sweep. Not if we can help it. You gotta put your foot down. You gotta send a message. And the message is we will not be walked over. And so Genisus fight back. A great performance from them. This time around, it was actually Fog who was so very, very involved in so many of these battles. And that kind of freed up some space for Yash, because he would go and, you know, he was getting demos and he was being involved in like other places. So it's really cool to see that in this final one. And I think that was a big factor of it. We've seen people take up other positions, other, you know, parts to play in the, you know, in the ballet that was this final game, and then we finally got to see Genisus getting a little bit of an advantage. But I'm curious to know what our resident majestic bearded man felt about that.
So my question is, at what point does 3-1 become a meme? Because that's pretty much what we see, wall to wall. Last week we did get at least one sweep, but otherwise it is 3-1 all over the place, and no different tonight. Genisus holding their heads up at the end to at least bring one in. So Obscurity jump from 9th place to 6th place. So they're right in there now in the playoff, in the play-in zone. So that is a very, very good night for them. But my goodness, the final week is going to have a lot of questions, and well, certainly we will have all the answers by this time next week. But yeah, well done to Shadow, great performance. But yeah, our broadcaster in the green room was saying, what is it with South African sports where we can't give 100% of the time?
True.
It seems to be a night for that. But I was overall, Borky, kind of impressed with the level of play. There were some solid plays going on there in Prospect.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you and I talked about it in the green room. We mentioned it on stream. I think it was Bromeo that said that whenever somebody from Prospect hits a clip, you know that it means a lot more than it might in Masters. We saw Yash going for countless of those. Of course, Genisus, unfortunately, on the losing end of this series, but they do get to walk away with some micro wins, especially that lovely double tap that Yash hit.
All right, well, Borky, Nari Mizuki, thank you guys so much for putting in a shift tonight and being here and bringing us these two delicious Prospect games. You can now clock out and do whatever it is you do after a night of casting. So thank you very much. Peace out. We'll see you again. And hopefully your availability is good, because we got playoffs coming in about 10 days time. So hopefully we will see you then. But for the time being, Borky and Sam, thank you very much, and peace. And that brings us to the end of week 8 RSC season 4 broadcast. We are closer to the end, but well, we're a week away from knowing where things shake out. There is still so much going on, and we don't know for certain where things will play out in each tier. But be here again, same time next week for week 9, the final week of league play. Thanks to everyone who hung out in chat and contributed to the overall vibe of tonight. And once again, shout out to our sponsors making this all possible: Genisus Extreme, Nearstream, and Slayer Energy Drink. Nearstream for all your equipment needs, Slayer Energy for your energy needs, and Genisus Extreme for your broadcast and production needs. And that will wrap it up, chaps. Monday night will be episode 22 of Just Saying. Wednesday night will be the RSC pod, the podcast dedicated to RSC, and that'll be right here on the RSC channel. But once again, thank you all very much to everyone involved. Yuckels doing his second night of game admin, doing a banger job. Daniel bringing us the broadcast, and of course Deploy with all the graphics work. And our talent for tonight over in stream series 1 and 2, Rhino and Muzz, and then of course Nari Mizuki and Borky for series 2 and 3. But that'll wrap it up from RSC. See you Monday night and Wednesday night for the various podcasts. Peace!
They do not know the rising towers of Hillbrow. They do not know the sprawling suburbs of the north. They do not know the sweet sounds of isiXhosa, Afrikaans, Sesotho. They do not know our ways. They do not know our people. They do not know us. We are not waiting for permission. We are not asking to be seen. We are our own region. We are SSA, RSC Johannesburg, RSC Nairobi, RSC Saint-Denis. This is not just a league, it is a movement. 4 seasons deep, and we are only just beginning. We train on 200 ping. We grind through blackout. We fight through silence. And we win anyway. This is Sub-Saharan Africa. This is our fight. This is Season 4.